Chairs for everyone. Actually, we have a bunch of rollies laying around.
There's a couple of rollies back here.
Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Good tape job. It stayed down good. You ready? Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to this installment of The Human Narrative here at Rad Inc., Florida. As always, I am your host, Robbie Rapole, and tonight we will be, thank you. Tonight we will be, thank you. And give it up for Chad Talley as well. Chad is a huge part of the reason why this happens, because he won't let me not do it. This doesn't have volume on it, does it?
You don't need to play bass.
Does this have a volume? Oh, it is? Oh, okay. All right, so, sorry about that. Trying to figure things out as we go. Tonight, the topic of conversation is inspiration. The cool thing about this event is it doesn't really matter what the topic is, because we always end up getting in some shit anyway. A lot of people have a lot of great, wonderful things to say, and some really hard stuff to say. And I want to kind of go over what's going on here, all right? Because this is our 6th event. Something like that. So this is our 6th time doing the Human Narrative. It has turned into its own thing. It started as we were going to have, 4 to 6 people talk. And then it turned into, let's not even worry about scheduling people as much. We'll have some regular speakers who show up when they can show up. And then anyone else who wants to speak gets a chance to speak. Also, another aspect of the game, if you will, is we are fucking live on YouTube right now. And I was talking to humans before this about that public speaking is the biggest fear of like basically everyone everywhere. And so I find that interesting because speaking is something we do daily in public also. and it's something that scares the fuck out of almost everyone. And so like even me, like I do this shit all the time and I still, I was cool until like 2 minutes before and then I felt the anxiety kick in, so like no matter what, I invite you to share tonight. When you share, please speak into the microphone and speak as loudly as you can, because through the live stream comes the sound through the microphone to the live stream. So speak up and speak into the microphone if you can, because that's how we're catching audio for this. All right, so there's a couple of layers to this, which makes it even more fun. Now you have to focus on keeping a microphone in your mouth, speaking loud enough so everybody can fucking hear you, and then not dying because you're terrified to tell a story. Exactly. But every time I've seen anyone do this, they've done great. Even when you do bad, you still do great, because the whole fucking concept is this is just relatable shit, man. That's why it's called the human narrative, because we're all fucking humans and it's our narrative, it's our story. And we're all living this human experience that is weird and beautiful and scary and terrible and ugly and fucking soft and hard and scary and sharp and fucking painful and all these fucking things, right? So, like, that is really the whole concept of the night. Just sharing one of those aspects of your life that our one topic word taps into for you. What I've noticed is we just tell our stories. It really doesn't matter what the topic is. We always end up pouring our hearts out and having a really beautiful time. So I start the night, before introducing any of the regular speakers, I start the night with all of the irregular speakers. Some of you know you need to get up because you didn't want to last time. And I'm happy for you for that, because you know what? There's something freeing about telling your story, because just as much as you need to tell this story, others need to hear it. So there's healing on all sides, and there's freeing nature from releasing the story from inside of you. So anyone in the audience tonight that chooses to speak can come up and speak. I do get pushy throughout the night, so if I push you too hard, please stop. Because I will push and push and push, because I am super intuitive and I usually can tell when more people need to talk. So I'm sorry if I push you past your limits tonight, but sorry not sorry on that end, because this is for us. This is for you. This is for the general whole consciousness and being of the world. Like, the more good you do for yourself and the more you share your shit, the more you're helping other people do for themselves and share their shit. So if you feel moved to speak, it doesn't matter if you go last, but just get up and speak. It'll be great for you, and it'll be great for us. So one of our most regular speakers that didn't intend to ever be one of our speakers is Mrs. Kiki Poirier. She has been attending all of them. And I feel weird if you're not here, because I'm so used to seeing you at all of them. Our other one, obviously, Mr. Chad Talley, he usually runs us up first and gets the crowd going. But I'm really excited and honored to have both of you guys be regular speakers here, because this is something that I didn't believe people would show up to. I felt like people were going to make fun of me and tell me I was weird, so I shouldn't do this stuff. So, like, the fact that you guys keep coming being weird with me, I'm like, thanks, y'all. And just to see you do the thing that you're, like, afraid to do, but, like, always do it. And then, like, Chad, fuck, man. Like, you're always the one running head first at it. And, like, you are always the one to just sit back and chill and not say much. So, like, I'm always impressed by your stories and your ability to put yourself out there. The strength you've helped me gain through doing this, just by, like, quietly chatting me into doing it. Like, and then I see you get out here and you crush it, and then people are like, yo, Chad's fucking story was the best. And I'm like, no shit, that's amazing. So, like, it's so cool to see how all the different stories and the different people connect. It's just a brilliant thing that I'm really excited that we get to do. So thank you for being, the mastermind behind it. And also, I know he doesn't want me to say this, but Zach Hendershot has turned out to be one of our regular speakers as well. He has become one of my best friends and one of my best assets to my business, and a great human to be around, talk to, work with, collaborate with, laugh with, cry with, create with. And he's helped me feel seen. So this is something I do for him to make him step out of his shell and force himself into the magic that he brings into this world. So it's weird, man. We work together so much for like a few months, and now we don't get to as much. And like there's a different vibe in the studio in our lives when we don't constantly get to like sharpen each other. So love you, dog. So now you gotta speak. So yeah, I think I'm done babbling to start. And I think, as always, we'll throw Chad in the hot seat, put him up here for a story of inspiration. Mr. Chad Talley.
All right, I've learned to hold the microphone actually up to my mouth at this point. No. And I'm doing this a little bit different than I usually do. Usually I'll write this whole thing down, and when I get up here, I spin through my mind as I'm talking to try and remember what I wrote down. And I get off the stage, and I'm like, that fucking sucked because I missed like half the stuff that I wrote down. This time I just got bullet points in my head, and I'm going to just wing it from there. I do want to start with saying that we need to tell the people that are important to us and that inspire us, that they do inspire us. I fucked up earlier. When I was thinking of this topic, in my head I had bullet points. And when I was talking to like Monica or Anna, I was saying, oh, look, I'm going to talk about Cora, I'm going to talk about mental health organizations, I'm going to talk about Megan. And when I was talking to Megan earlier about this, in my head, subconsciously, I'm like, she knows she's on there. But I didn't say it. I didn't vocalize it. And I didn't realize that was going to hurt her as much as it did. But yeah, you're always on my list. You're always top. So yeah, first thing I'm going to talk about is Megan. If you look up to anybody for like support for somebody who has a mental illness, she should be your inspiration. Because what do you do when you're with somebody for, 5 years before my breakdown? You're with somebody for 5 years. You know they have OCD, but it's not that bad. And then they have a breakdown, and it gets bad. And the person that you're with is suddenly like, what if I hurt somebody? What if I hurt somebody? Oh, is this mole? Is it cancerous? I'm waking you up at 3 a.m. Is this cancer? What am I gonna do? And then having to go downstairs and be like, this is not normal. I shouldn't be like this. And getting encouraged to look up groups and support groups, and her telling me, you're not crazy. It's okay. We'll figure it out. She came to support groups with me. She talked to my therapist about like how she can support me, what she can do. And he told her like, look, you can, don't give reassurance. You can be there for him, but don't tell him. Don't give him reassurance, because that's just a constant loop. You'll get the reassurance and you'll come back and back. It's like chasing the drug. But yeah, she should be somebody that everybody looks up to, for somebody to support somebody who has a mental illness. And that kind of leads into my second one, which is another thing that inspires me is mental health advocates and advocacy groups. Because without the IOCDF, International OCD Foundation, I talk about them, I think, every single time that I'm up here. Without them, I wouldn't have found a support group. I wouldn't have found my therapist. I wouldn't have found ERP. I don't know where I'd be. I'd still be stuck in a loop of what if I hurt somebody? What if I'm going crazy? What if? But yeah, through them, I found the support group, and then there's pages out there, even just Instagram pages, like OCD Excellence. Through them, I found out, because I knew I had OCD, but I didn't know what that meant. I knew I had harm OCD and health OCD. But they post these infographics saying, this subset, and here's what those subsets kind of experience sometimes. And through them, I realized some of the stuff that I had always gone through my entire life was, oh, that's my OCD. That's me. I go through that. And without those pages, I would have never known. And there's an advocate that I look up to a lot was Ethan Smith. And what was it? I think I posted it yesterday. It was 3 years ago yesterday that we had him on the podcast. His story is what actually opened me up to wanting to share my story. Because his stories, he told it on the podcast. It's pretty intense. Plug the podcast, go watch it. I posted it yesterday. But yeah, through his story, I got inspired to share my story. And through that, I've inspired some others. And the people that we inspire can also inspire us. Like I have been, personally, I didn't want to do medication. I only wanted to do my ERP, my exposure with response prevention therapy. But more recently, I've been having more flare-ups. And ERP, yeah, it works, but it gets cumbersome having to do it over and over and over, and it wears you down. And some of the people that I had talked to that ended up going and getting help, or, you know, my wife, they take medications for the stuff that they go through. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not a bad idea. Maybe I should look into it. And I'm 4 weeks on Prozac now for my OCD. And I don't notice a change yet, but as we go up, I'll notice more of a change. But that's just to say that I was inspired to also better myself and find something that can help me not have as many flare-ups and ease the burden of my OCD. The last thing I want to talk about is Cora. She's actually out there right now. You can probably hear. She inspires me a lot. She struggles with reading, and watching her work so hard at getting up there. And she's in an IEP. She went through tutoring, and she'll, as we're out and about, she'll point out words and be like, "Oh, it says that." And I'm like, "That's awesome, you did it." And she's gotten 1,000 times better than what she was. And watching her as she overcomes her fears, she has stage fright, pretty bad stage fright. She gets overwhelmed and she has to fidget. But she conquers that. Like every year at Spooky Empire, she goes, "I want to go as this year." And they have a kids costume contest, and she does it every year. She gets over her stage fright. She gets up there. She gets into character. Like she was a black cat one year. She gets up there, goes up to the judges table, and she's like, "I'm a cat. I make dramatic noises." Or she went as a ghost last time, and I did her all up. She had a spooky doll, and she does the spooky walk up there, and she's moaning the whole time, going, "Ugh." Just watching her overcome all of her fears and try so hard to catch up to what she thinks she needs to be. And I tell her, look, as long as you try your hardest, I don't care what your grades are. As long as you're trying and you're putting yourself out there, you're fine. But yeah, and she told me she wants to talk tonight, so she might come up at the end. She'll get over that stage fright as well. So you might actually get to listen to her talk. But those are the main three that I want to touch on. I don't know how long I've been up here. So I'll kick it back to you and whoever else wants to come up and speak.
It's really cool to see how much different you've gotten on the microphone here, Chad. It's really cool, man. Your confidence has definitely stepped up a lot, and it's like, yeah, see why I don't write shit down, bro? So, you ready, Kiki? Oh, it's my turn? I mean, I go every time, but, like, I feel like you should go. I mean, I'm already up here, dude. I'm not worried about it. I'll go. I'm just saying I feel like Kiki should go. Mainly because my story ain't cooked yet. Kiki Poirier, everybody! Oh, and speak about the kindness kangaroos right quick, because I want you to plug that.
What? That wasn't in my script.
Yeah. Kiki does this thing called kindness kangaroos with her husband David, and it's really fucking cool, and it's tracking good deeds.
Yeah, so it's little cards, and they have QR codes on them, and the idea of that is to be able to track your ripples of kindness. That way, every time someone scans it and passes it on, you get a notification about, whatever act of kindness happened. So you can look at the map and see how far your ripples have gone. Thanks.
All right.
No. All right.
Story time.
So my heart's in my gut, so bring that back up. So I'm kind of going through what Chad, I wrote some things down, and Like, okay, well, I left my phone over there, so apparently I'm not even going to look at them. Um, so for me, I have a lot of inspiration, and you two are so much of that. You inspire me and empower me. So thank you so much for advocating and giving us all a space to share our narrative, because we all know I got that. So for inspiration, I actually have a problem with being too inspired. So I get all these brilliant ideas, and then I want to do them all, and then there's not enough time, and then they don't get done, and then I get mad, and then I get inspired. So it's a whole cycle. So what inspires me? I might need my notes. So the main thing that inspires me is testimonies and people sharing their stories. I grew up around a drug and rehab program, and in church there was always people sharing their testimonies, and that was the thing that was in my face a lot. So that was always something, you know, that I took their word for their lessons, so maybe I could skip over that hardship. Picked my own hardships, but you know, I would try to listen to what other people would say. So as you're going through that, I started to hear patterns of different things, you know, people saying the same patterns of regret or the same quotes or things like that. So I start picking up on those things, and I'm like, all right, so this person said life went by too fast, or this person said, you know, when they did this, drugs or alcohol usually, and you know, it took their life to this crazy place, and they have to do all this work to get back. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can skip that part. So that turned into kind of like a quotes, or another word that I can't think of, but you know, like quotes like life is short, don't blink, right? So what I do with that inspiration is also part of my story. I put that into action, and you know, not blinking, because mostly our children's lives just go by so friggin' fast. My daughter turns 8 in a few days, and I don't know, time is just weird. So something, you know, David and I talked about when, you know, we were trying to get pregnant, we had infertility issues. But during that time, we had a lot of conversations, and something that we agreed to do is never wish her life away. So if she is, you know, crawling, we're not like, oh, I can't wait until she's talking, or I can't wait till she walks. We're like, all right, she's crawling, we're going to be all in and crawling, we're going to be all in the walking. And I feel like that's really helped us stay very present with her life and her phases and not miss too much. And also I have one kid, so that helped me not want more kids. So I'm very happy with, you know, being the parent I am to her, and having that mentality, and hearing those other people saying it goes by so fast. You know, every single time you're in a grocery store with a baby, somebody's going to tell you, you know, it goes by so fast. Don't let it go by, you know, soak it all up. And when you are so ready for a nap and a cup of coffee or some hot freaking food, you're like, all right, all right, one day she's not going to want to, you know, come home, and she's going to sleep over at friends' houses. So, all right, this is what we have today. So, you know, I get inspiration from, you know, things like shows. You know, there's a Ted Lasso, and they have a sign that says believe. And every time they go through some sort of thing and they have to just believe in their team or believe in their coach, they just hit this sign in their locker room. Well, in our house, that inspired me. Mine is no excuses. You know, if I want to do something, whatever's in the way is going to have to get overcome. I don't have those excuses. So, you know, right now I'm battling Lyme disease, and I'm taking a very aggressive approach with it. And it certainly makes me want to put a bunch of excuses in there, or I'm tired, or, you know, it's inconvenient, or it's hard, or whatever. But I am, you know, day 24 on this extreme aggressive thing, and I'm not giving up because I have no excuses in my way. Like I'm the one that's going to achieve this. No one else is going to, heal my body for me. So it helps me go all in. So yeah, I get a lot of inspiration from testimonies in other people's lives. There was this one, there's this guy giving a talk at a graduation, and he is giving this beautiful speech. But the main thing I got out of it was, if you want to change the world, make your bed. And every day you wake up, if you don't, dealing with depression and anxiety and grief and all these other things, there was some days I didn't even make my bed. So just making my bed was an accomplishment. And then that gave me one foot to get into the front of the other so that I could conquer more things. Okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. And just by making my bed every day, that's gonna give me a foundation, because when you get into bed, even if you make your bed just before you get into it, that counts. But there's just this feeling that happens of accomplishment, and so it feels really good. So that was really inspiring for me. And my phone died, so that's where we're gonna go. So yeah, my major inspiration is testimonies and quotes, and putting your inspiration into action is really important. I'm writing my second book. I'm almost done with that, and that's based off of things that have inspired me. So I found that pretty funny that this was the topic, and the one that I'm like, all right, no matter what it is. And it's exactly what I'm writing my second book about. So yeah, put your inspiration into action. That's my advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kiki. Exactly. So my story's cooked up now. Thanks for that. And thank you. By the way, I'm illustrating Kiki's first book that she wrote, which is about the kindness kangaroos, and it's all kind of tied together in this wonderful thing that we still don't even know what it is, but it's going to be something. And I appreciate you because you've inspired me to make this art. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a cartoon specialist. That's one of my favorite things to do. And like the fact that I get to illustrate a children's book and do all these like cool cartoons based on characters that you and I basically made up. Well, you made up, and then characters that I made up to add to it. And like, my art gets to tell this story that your story's telling. And it's just it's an interesting process, and it's an interesting project. And it's weird because like for me, inspiration, like you inspired me to be childlike. And, you told me like, enjoy yourself, let your inner child come out. So like when I do art for this book, I typically am in a very good space about it. I'm like, all right, cool, let's fucking make some art. This is going to be dope. Rather than like, oh, I need to do this. Because kids don't be like, oh, I need to do this. They don't fucking do anything like that. So, like I get to just be, in a state of enjoyment when I make this. It makes it hard to have a schedule, but, I always figure things out. So, and it's a cool process too, because every page I illustrate, I learn more how to effectively illustrate the next page with more speed and efficiency, and still enjoy myself. So like it's a really cool, fun thing. And inspiration comes so much in the art process, right? Like there's that pain point of fuck, I don't know what I need to make. And then you hit this point where your muse comes, or the universe speaks to you. You get this flutter in your heart, and you're like, holy shit, I know what I need to do. And I'm in the middle of that right now, but not as much with my art. And that's a weird thing for me, because I've been afraid of this one thing that I've been doing for 10 years, but now it's like turning into something different. And I know I'm kind of being cryptic and weird, I think that's kind of part of my attachment to the fear of accepting that this is a step I'm taking, right? So I have been doing the rad movement stuff for over 10 years now, and Chad helped me start with some of the first videos, and he pointed out the fact that I was not, promoting my videos or even posting them. And I was like, yeah, I'm scared. So I've always been scared of the rad movement because I'm a tattooer and I'm a tough guy. I'm a Cuban Italian. I'm the youngest of 3 boys. And I always had to fight for the king of the mountain. So for me, I take a lot of my shit from childhood with, okay, well, if I do something that I think is cool, they're going to make fun of you the way that your brothers did, or the way the kids in school did for being fat, and, the way the girls that didn't like you when you asked them to the dance, or, all the silly things. So that's, this specific thing, because it means so much, touches all that shit, right? Because I'm afraid to use my voice, even though I'm really good at it. I do it all the fucking time. And my voice moves people. I fucking know that. I've got too much proof to not accept that. And I'm still afraid to use my voice. And the rad movement is one of the major ways that I enjoy using my voice, because I see it puts good out into the world. So the step I'm making is turning the rad movement into a nonprofit and really fucking turning it into something that I have to fucking do. And I've been doing it for so long now. When I lost my fucking leg, I realized I'm the rad movement guy. So if I don't fucking practice what I preach, I'm a piece of shit for being a liar. So this is just another step in my story of really stepping into what the fuck my mission is here, because I love tattooing and I love art, and that's really cool, and the inspiration there is awesome, and Donna inspires me to make art, and cartoons inspire me to make art, and other people's art, and that's all cool, right? But that feels so flaccid to me when I think about the dreams of actually inspiring others to live the life that they're meant to live. Tattooing's almost been 30 fucking years for me, man. I'm cool with it. I'm real good at it. I enjoy doing it. It really brings me joy and shit. But it don't light me up the way that making people not kill themselves light me up. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean that I don't love tattooing, because I just fucking had the most fill my cup type of day tattooing. You know what I'm saying? But it's this shit with intentionally making moves to speak your story, speak your truth, do it even if your voice shakes, which is something I do a lot here. And so it's just interesting that inspiration to me isn't just about fucking dope drawings of big titty bitches and fucking cool cartoons and shit, and that was my life for so long. If you didn't care about my art and the art I liked, well, fuck you. And now it's there's just a broader spectrum of what's truly important, and the inspiration to inspire others. When there's so many fucking times it's happened to me recently, and it fucks with my head. People come up to me and they're shaking and biting their nails, and I can't believe it's you. And I'm what the fuck are you talking about? And it's probably the closest to out of body experiences I've had consciously, because I literally am just standing there outside myself being bro, can you fucking believe this is going on? And and my initial response is to make fun of that person in my head. Look at this fucking loser thinks you're great. And then it's you're not making fun of them. You're just saying that I'm not great. Oh shit. Stop doing that to yourself. So I've found this, this place where I'm stepping over that threshold regularly. And I think introducing the rad movement, I literally fucking took that thing off the wall a while ago, because I knew my staff didn't really vibe with the rad movement, and I started to remove the rad movement from my studio so they wouldn't feel weird, and all of them are gone, and I get to be myself again, and now I don't have to fucking worry about these people that are in my space feeling like I'm a fucking loser or weirdo or less than for crying in public, and talking about it, sharing my story about shit, because shit's all hard, and when we realize that we're not alone, it helps us through our shit. I know the good I do in this world by sharing the words that come to me. Because, like, you know, as Kathleen said one time, I ain't here telling you things. I'm saying this is coming from sources coming through me. You know, these experiences is when, like, all of us, you know, whether you're biting your nails and ain't feeling like you're delivering properly, it's still the sources flowing through you when you fucking deliver that message. And that realness of the delivery is what inspires others to share their message. One of my favorite things in a really brilliant speaker is when they do ums and forget what the fuck they're talking about. I'm like, holy shit, that means I can be brilliant too. Because I do that shit. And how many times was I making a motherfucking point and I fucking just woo squirrel. And now, like, we don't know what we was talking about, but yeah, exactly. Let's figure out where the fuck we supposed to be now. You know, so like, it's interesting that in my tattoo shop, after spending a really inspiring day creating art, art isn't what I'm talking about when it comes to inspiration. And I think I've mentioned that so many times because it kind of blows my fucking mind. Like, I'm pretty sure Donna's one of the only people that when I started dating, I didn't say, yo, tattooing comes first. Like, before me, before my kid, before everybody. You know, me and the kid come next, but tattooing comes first. And it's so odd that I've found, like, myself realizing that tattooing's dope and it's beautiful and it's awesome, but it isn't all there is to life. And so that inspiration to inspire others to do the shit that, like, they're meant to fucking do. Everybody's meant to fucking do something. My client today asked every fucking person that came in that room, when are they going to write a book about a certain topic? It was so fucking interesting. And I'm like, this dude need to write books, you know, like, and so, like, there's something important that all of us need to do. Last time I got emotional telling you to follow your fucking dreams with social media shit because the world needs to hear what you got to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get emotional, like, thinking about what the fuck ripples somebody else could make in this world. And so funny about ripples, we were just talking about this earlier. You brought it up. The movie Elemental, it's a Disney movie. It's an amazing movie, but there's this fucking water character named Wade Ripple. And he falls in love with the fire. And part of his thing is being emotional as fuck. And, like, I fucking fight it so hard, so often. And, like, I am Wade Ripple. Like, people fucking call me Robbie Ripple. They don't even know my last name is Ripple. Like, Ripple chases me around everywhere, and the good that I do in this world fucking leaves ripples behind, and the tears that I shed in front of other people leaves ripples for them to fucking shed their shame and share fucking tears. It's one of my missions to help fucking, started with men, but really, I'm really good at training women how to cry too. Donna. I've learned that, like, teaching people how to access their emotions is one of my gifts, and it's a valuable gift, and that's hard to fucking say for the first couple years that you say shit like that. Calling myself a healer felt really fucking weird, and, like, I finally had to step into it because bitches get healed around me. Fucking what do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I do. I don't care who you are. We're gonna fucking find some healing journey together. Whether we're having food together, smoking a joint together, fucking having a deep talk, having a tattoo, in passing shit. Like, I learned I'm a healer. Fuck, man. So if I can inspire other healers to not dick around in the process of waiting to accept that they're a healer for so long, fuck, I'm here for that shit too. So, like, this inspiration thing is more than just, like, what inspires me to be a dad or what inspires me to be this. Like, what can I do to make this fucking world a better place? That's what inspiration really, like, is about for me. Because for so long, I had this figure of $472 billion. If I could get that amount of money, I could fucking make a major difference to change the fucking world. Because the people in this world that have the money fucking have the ability to make the change. And that was what I thought, right? So I was waiting until $472 billion found its way to me. But now I realize I can change the fucking world just by being me, just by doing a small intimate gathering like this. Fuck, we can change the world. because the ripple effects that we can have with all of us doing something to inspire someone to live their fucking truth. Whether it's like be truly yourself with fucking sexuality or gender, or fucking come out to your parents about being an artist, which is a huge thing to do for a lot of people. You know, like, I mean, there's so many things that society gets disappointed in us about. So if we could just fucking live our true authentic lives by being inspired by others and then using our fucking true authentic lives to inspire others, now we've just helped fucking the whole entire consciousness, this whole fucking planet and this whole fucking ecosystem of the universe all works together if we just work together by loving ourselves enough to live our true lives to fucking inspire others. I'm fucking done. Are you ready, Zach? Zach's not ready yet. All right, still cooking. All right, so we've run through our regular speakers for the night.
It's okay for men to be emotional. Like I don't cry very often, and one of the few times more recently that I have cried was with you, on camera.
You were on the list earlier, though.
Okay. You know, I didn't. Right, you know, it's weird, man, because I didn't even think about the list. Man, my brain's mush. Until this fucking show is over, I don't even know what's going on. But I really appreciate that, man. I really fucking do, because like you've like pushed and inspired me in ways that I would have never understood or imagined. You've really fucking annoyed me with some of it, because I really didn't want to move. But you're like, do this thing, and I'm like, no, I don't want it. But yeah, man, thanks for being an inspiration to me as well. So Zach's not cooked yet, but it's gonna happen.
I got one more too.
You got one more story? Holler, baby. Kiki Poirier, once again.
Okay, I feel way calmer now. So I think one of my probably top 3, and that's just because I'm giving room for forgiveness here, is Scott Donna. Yeah. And he is one of my greatest inspirations, and I think, you know, a lot of us in this room can agree to that. For me, Scott represents authenticity. And, you know, he stands for that it's always an inside job. And even when you don't think it's an inside job, it's definitely an inside job. And so Scott is my inspiration to always look inside of myself, always keep healing, never make excuses, jump into every opportunity that I can. You know, he is my inspiration to get the most out of life. And even if you look a fool or you're scared or, you know, doubt or whatever is in the way, just do it anyways, because that's how you're going to get the experience. And that's what life is all about. So thank you, Mr. Donna, for everything that you offered all of us, and especially to me. I love you so much.
You can do this every time. Look at that. Scott Donna is actually one of our regular speakers as well. He's just not in town this weekend. We decided to start doing the regular speaker thing like a month ago or something. This is, as if you can't tell, it's a pretty loose thing that we do here. It kind of forms as it forms. Yeah, man, you know, writing it down stresses. Right, dudes, writing it down stress you out. Like, just, you're already stressed out enough. Just fucking chill, have some snacks, and make it through until it's time to talk, which is what me and Abel were talking about, like the nerves. You know, is it time to talk? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Abel Buskirk. So Abel is a wonderful little human that I met in downtown Melbourne one day.
I know, I shit myself waving at you.
And then I was like, what a sweet little human. And then Megan is the connector to bring Abel here. And last time, Abel wanted to speak and wasn't really ready. You came in the room late.
Okay.
It was a weird time, right?
Okay.
So now it's time to hear Abel's story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I remember that day in downtown Melbourne. I had some flapjacks at Backwater, and I said, "That's fucking Robbie." And I was like, and I was with my friend, and they were like, "Oh, you don't even know, he doesn't even know you. You don't even go here." So I said, "Fuck you, I'm gonna get to know him one day." Yeah. Thank. Absolutely. Okay, I'm weird with microphones. So many chords. Okay. Let's see. So, well, I'll start with a little joke. My outfit is inspired by Jenny from the block, who stopped by every block to go to each bodega. But, so my name's Abel. I'm the owner of the self-care trifecta right down the road. I am so blessed to be here today. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Chad, for doing this, Megan. And thank you, Video Dude, with the cool shirt. Appreciate you making me look good. So pretty much just to give you a quick cliff notes of my life, trigger warning, domestic abuse, drug abuse, and suicidal ideation. So if I'm going to wait like 5 seconds, I'll do a little bend and snap, and if anybody needs to go, you can enjoy the view. Bend and snap done. Okay. So, thank you. I worked all day for that. Thank you so much. I'll paint me like one of your French girls. So I moved here when I was 14 from Jersey, and that was great. I loved academia. I loved school. I loved AP classes. I was your type A classic fucking nerd, And then once I was 18, I got really hot. So I started working at bars, met the wrong group of people, and kind of went in a downward spiral that you can already know and assume. So started with heavy drug abuse, started with bad relationships, domestic violence. My ex-girlfriend was a black belt in karate. She fucking whooped my ass so hard. Damn. So it sucks because I'm like minimally impressed, I'm like, fuck. But I wasn't that fat then, so so that was tough. It was tough navigating life with the feeling of isolation, with feeling like the one person who's supposed to be my safety net is hurting me. The one person who told me, well, I'm the only one who's going to love you this way. You'll never find anybody else who would do it. And I believed that for a while. Well, I used to work at Cheddar's back in the day. And one day I had a scarf around my neck. And management came up to me and said, I used to go by Allie at the time, I'm transgender, female to male. And she said, you know what? You need to go. You're fucked up. I used to steal booze at work. I used to get the shit rocked out of me. So I used to wear scarves to work. And as a server wearing a scarf around my neck, that's obviously quite bizarre, right? So it happened to be a Sunday, and I said, you know what? It's been a while since I went to church. I grew up Catholic. And I said, man, I really, really steered away from my spirituality. So I go to church, and there's nobody there. And I see this lady who looks kind of fucking scary, honestly. And I'm like, something told me to sit next to her, so I did. And her teeth were like kind of hanging out of her mouth, and her hair was really crazy, crazier than mine, yes. And she had these big glasses, and she looked so unapproachable. But something told me I need to be right here. Well, let me tell you something. So there's this thing in Catholicism. Sorry, but this Prozac got me all dry mouth and shit. Baby, can you hand me my drink? My Sprite? So there's this thing called the homily where the priest talks. And he talks for quite a bit. Thanks, sweetheart. Yay, wife, Julie. Yay, thank you. And she grabbed my hand and she said to me, what's about to happen to you, you're gonna be okay. And listen, I'm from Jersey. I'm like, bitch, I don't know who the fuck you are. Don't touch me. And I heard, just shut up. Just my dad passed away right after I moved here, and I heard him say, shut up and just receive it. So I ended up passing out for like 10 minutes. And I wake up, and it's time to do communion. Let me take a little sip. Hold on. Little wiggle, wiggle. And so it's time to do communion, okay? And I tell her, why don't you go in front of me? You go ahead. You go in front of me. I'll follow you. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And so as I have eyes on her, I blink, gone. Poof. She was nowhere to be found. I look behind me when I sit back in the pew and I ask the people behind me, hey, do you know that lady who was sitting next to me? Ma'am, you were sitting by yourself the whole time. I said, what the fuck? I said, listen, I know I didn't take shit today. What is this? Back then I was able to go into the women's restroom. Went into the bathroom, looked for her. I asked various people, hey, have you seen this lady? Gave the description, nothing. That day, I walked out of the church doors and I never used again. That was November 22nd, 2017. And I was extremely blessed. And that was my miracle. I grew up with going to the church and being almost obligated and forced to go in Sunday school. And I was like, fuck, like I want to feel that gravitational pull to celebrate, to worship. Where is that? So after that happened, I said, okay, this is my time. And I knew it was a miracle. I didn't have one withdrawal symptom, and I was using a lot of shit. I didn't have one withdrawal symptom, and my life changed overnight. And almost 7 years here soon. Yay. So I'm super blessed. But what inspires me is God, is Jesus, my higher being. I started doing these art shows, which is really fun. And lately my lesson has been to humble myself. I like flashy flash. I'm like Paris Hilton's fucking dog, okay? And so I was told, okay, time to humble yourself. Do these art shows. Don't worry about the money. It's going to come. Just worry about connecting with people, sharing space, holding space, praying with them if they're, if that's the way they roll too. And if not, that's okay, And it's just been remarkable. I am so blessed to have my beautiful wife, my beautiful best friend from high school, and who just celebrated 30 days, baby. So, I don't know. I guess if you're ever feeling isolated and stuck and in a spot that feels sticky, whether it's car problems or whatever, there is always that light that's right next to you. And a therapist told me, whenever you see the door, fucking turn around, you will see a window, crawl out of that bitch, because I promise you bigger blessings will be on the other side, and they always will be. So thank you guys for letting me speak. Have a good night.
Thank you, Abel. Let's hear it again for Abel. It's really interesting hearing your stories about when you could use a different bathroom and things like that, because I feel like I don't even recognize the dude with two legs anymore. So it's interesting when your life has a major shift like that, and like it's like you really did walk through a wall to a totally different life. So we once again are now calling up humans who feel so inclined to speak. So if you are the one to speak, raise your hand, come on up, say hello. All right, come on up, Mr. Greg Woolley. So I met Greg recently at a sweat lodge, and I cried on him, and I loved on him, and he loved on me, and I got a new brother that day.
Actually, my younger brother's name is Robbie, so whoa! Yeah, and I'll fall for the middle. Okay. No worries. I shouldn't have said anyhow. I should have just stood up. Actually, my younger brother's name is Robbie, so and we don't talk much, so I'm grateful to have Robbie as a brother. So I was going to come up with my old and I stopped doing this, and you reminded me of so much that I had set by the wayside, and here I am Greg the Mad Poet. I ain't angry, but I am MAD, mad about making a difference. Here to put a pep in your step and a spark in your spirit. And yeah, because I write poetry every day, and I was doing those on YouTube for a long time. And I find inspiration every day, everywhere, watching people like Robbie. Whenever I was at the first thing with Kiki and David and Scott and those over there, I was like, wow, you guys really do put the we in weird, and I'm always looking for my we because, you know, I've spent a lot of my life feeling way out of place, way out of, you know, I don't know where I belong. My story is I was an abused kid. I was abused in a lot of different ways. Got into drugs and alcohol way early. By the time I was 13, 14 years old, I was a kid who was selling it to all the other kids. 15, 16, I was angry, getting in fights here, there, and everywhere. 17, major breakdown, psychosis, end up in a mental institution, and diagnosed with all these diagnoses. And like, what do you do? What do you do with after that? You know, and it's just spiraled, and drug addiction and alcohol took me to places I never thought I would go. But the blessings of that is I was able to get sober at 23, and I'm not 23 no more. 33 years later, and I haven't had a drink. And so the you know if you come into the recovery rooms, they say if you write down all your dreams in the beginning, you would shortchange yourself, and I know that to be very, very true. As I was riding over here with Matt. You know, in my last days of drinking, I would make it to the concert and pass out in the parking lot before the concert started, and I would go places and have great hopes of doing stuff, and I would take that first drink and I would do Lord knows what. It usually wasn't good, but I would always make a scene everywhere I went. At the end of my days, you know, even when my older brother was struggling with multiple sclerosis at the end, I was the last person on the list that you would call, because every time there was a bad situation, I would come and I would make it worse, you know. And so going through my life, you know, I've had all my relationships restored. I had the blessings of getting married whenever I was still using, and we're no longer married. But I had 2 daughters from that marriage, and then we ended up getting divorced. But I was able to stand up and be a human through that, and to say that I love my ex-wife, and we co-parented well, and I got to see my girls every day all the way through that, and then to be able to remarry and have my ex-wife be the babysitter of my twins. You know, it's kind of odd because people were like, what is wrong with you? You were so weird. But to me, it feels so right because I loved her. I didn't hate her just because we couldn't be married anymore. I think a lot of times people let their hurt turn to hate, and that's not the way that in my eyes that it's supposed to be. If you love someone, you love them forever. Just because you can't be together anymore, you can still love them how they need to be loved from afar or what have you. But so my everyday inspiration is to get up. I'm a friend of Jesus, friend of Bill W., a friend of the friendless. I'm just a friend of everyone's whenever it comes down to the end of it. And so I usually get out of bed in the morning wanting to read something inspirational, and then I like Kiki was saying with her quotes, I kind of take it in and I chew on it a little while, and then I write something with it. And if you're in my circle, usually you'll get a poem here and there, but I try not to overwhelm. It used to be I was a closet poet for the beginning, because it was one of those. I'm a roofer by trade, and I still have a roofing business in St. Cloud. But the first person that I would let really see them on a regular basis whenever I first started writing them, because I had my dark night of the soul, was I had diverticulitis, and I ended up in the hospital for about 7 weeks that year, and a colostomy bag and all the stuff that went with it. Then and it was bad years because it was when the bottom fell out of the market and nobody had any money. We didn't have any money to begin with anyhow, and then I couldn't work anyhow, and then it was just so much stuff, and the back surgery next year, and it was just like thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. But one of the things was, whenever I'd always written poetry and songs a little bit to some extent, and with going through that experience, I was like, you're gonna die with all this music in your head, and I was a good roofer, and I'm still a good roofer, and though I'm not as fast as I used to be, and it hurts me a lot worse than I used to, and like I'm like, you're gonna go one day and stand before your Creator, and He's gonna like, you roofed one more roof. I gave you all these songs, all these ways to inspire other people, and you did one more roof, really? And on one of those trips, the last trips to the hospital was what really pushed me to, because I really thought that I might die, and I was like, you're gonna die with all this music in you, all these songs in you, and so that was what you guys really inspired me to share a poem. Of course, I got a poem for every occasion, so I'll share this one and then I'll shut up. And but you guys made me think of a lot of ones whenever you were sharing, so I didn't know what I was going to share, and so anyhow, I heard somebody else write a version of this, but I of course had to turn it into my own, and so this is The Cemetery. I've heard it said, and it seems quite a pity, that the cemetery is the richest place in every city. Full of unwritten books and unpainted art, so many entrepreneurial ideas that we were afraid to start. In your buried talents, don't just let them die. Find a way to do more than just get by. Step up to the plate, take a chance, take your swing. Put a pen to the page, dare to sing. God put you in dreams that only you can achieve. Something comes alive in us when we dare to believe. Talent in the grave are life's greatest tragedy, or so it seems. Don't go to the cemetery with your heart full of dreams. And so now I get to do my plug, because I almost forgot my plug and I would have sat down. With being a person in long-term recovery, I've done a lot of what they say. Once you have sobriety, you give it away, right? So I've served in a lot of capacities over the years. And one of those was I did work with guys getting out of prison for about 10 years running, and then I got the church I was at, and I decided to leave that church and trying to rediscover who I was again. And I had someone come up with the concept of Recovery High School. So I put a lot of energy and effort into the nonprofit, and we have 11 students right now virtually, and we're chugging along. And next Saturday is the second annual May Day 5K over in St. Cloud. It's going to be a 5K. It's going to have meditation music and the ice baths, and Robbie's going to be there, right, Robbie? Yeah, Robbie's going to be over there if he can get up that early. He said it's not early for it. So, but we're having a 5K over there in St. Cloud. So if you want to come over and hang out with us, it'll be a fantastic morning, and a great way to give back. And come see me.
It is true. Greg does write poetry all the time, and I am blessed enough to be one of the ones he shares it with. And I've been facing a lot of personal shit and kind of staying to myself a lot lately. And he'll send me these poems, and I'll be like, I don't want to read this. This is right, like don't fucking push me to like smile or believe in myself or something right now. So thanks for that. I was alerted by the Chad phone that Mrs. Chad, her name is Megan Talley, would like to go next because she's been to these and she's never spoken, but she's very much wanted to. So let's give it up for Megan Talley. People do all the time.
Oh, it's very, very fucking bright up here. Shit. All right. This is fun. I don't like that at all. So I don't really like speaking in front of lots of people. Oh, but okay, the light hides the people. That's okay. I guess I'll deal with the migraine later. The person who inspires me the most, I'd have to say, is my husband. There are lots of people who inspire me, but mostly my husband, because he deals with me mostly because I'm terribly crazy. He deals with me in my everyday struggles. We've been together for like 12 years, and he has been literally seeing me through my very worst days. Whether it be the childbirth, see me through 2 different types of cancer, see me through the worst parts of my family, where my family wasn't there. His family always was. I love being not only just being with him, but also being a part of his family as well. And I love that they've accepted me as their own as well. The other person who inspires me is my daughter Cora, because she is super inspiring. She, as Chad mentioned earlier, Robbie, you're really throwing me off with the vagina hand. I'm sorry. I have ADHD as well. Good stuff. Sorry. I squirreled. I'm not good at this. Cora is amazing. I love her. She has gone through a lot, and she has always come out the other side. She has anxiety. She also has ADHD. She struggles with reading, but yet she always tries to find the fun and the very best in everything. I have so many friends that are amazing. My close circle, most recently, even though I don't know them that well, I have to say Abel inspires me incredibly. I don't even know him that well or for even that long, but yet I just feel this incredible pull towards them. And Robbie, you always inspire me. You make me, every time I see a post of yours or a video or just like anything, or even if it's just like a stupid meme that like someone's reposted like a million times, like I fucking feel that, man. Like, and my, I can't think of anything else right now other than I love all of these people, and I'm very proud to know all of you, and that's it. Cora wants to talk too. Look at her. She's like,
Is it your turn, Cora? Okay, I understand safety squishies. It's really cool to hear Megan and Chad both talk about how Cora inspires them, because I have always been impressed and inspired by Cora's ability to smile real big and be so silly and jolly and fun and happy. Even when I know you're anxious and stressed out, I still see you really do your best to smile really big and try and find the best in everything. And that's a brilliant quality, so don't forget that. Everyone, please welcome Cora Talley.
you want to hold the mic or you want me to hold the mic?
Yeah.
Okay.
What inspires me the most is my parents.
What inspires you, us? How do we inspire you? Yes, how do we inspire you? Or is that all you wanted to say?
That's all I really wanted to say.
Okay.
You know, fortune cookies don't say a whole lot, but they say a whole lot. Cora, I'm proud of you, dude. All right, so who's next? Come on up here. John.
Yes, sir.
My man, John. When he came last time,
2 months ago.
I was so just moved by this human, and I wasn't even sure that I remembered his name properly. And I didn't need a name. I just had a feeling. So excited to hear you again.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, brother.
I know last time I was here, I didn't use the mic because, well, I didn't think about it, and I didn't think I needed it. But
Now we need it.
yes, I don't know exactly where to start. I am inspired by my lovely wife the most. In fact, I was in my deepest hole when she came to my rescue. And the rescue was from what I talked about last time very shortly, but got off topic and forgot everything I was supposed to say about being passionate about alcohol. I'm glad I am not passionate about that anymore. I'm actually passionate about my wife and my life, which is wonderful thanks to my inspiring wife. And I'm starting to chatter really fast, and I'm nervous, and my heart's going about 1,000 miles a minute, so I'm going to slow this down for a second. Yes. The power of inspiration is amazing. I was on a death spiral for sure. I didn't care. I had a wonderful life prior to. I had a wife, 2 children. I lived in a very nice house. We had 2 new cars. I thought I was on top of the world. I thought we were going places. And the rug was pulled out from underneath me. I then turned to alcohol. I didn't really get into anything else. I've smoked pot probably my whole life. I don't know if I was smoking pot in the womb, but I know my parents didn't smoke pot, but as soon as I found out what it was, I loved smoking pot. I was inspired to smoke pot. I was pot inspired. Thank you. So I went into this horrible, horrible spin. I did not want to live. I was in charge of a lot of people doing a job. I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. I quit my job. I stopped paying my house payment. I didn't have a vehicle anymore. My children were with my wife, ex. No, at the time it wasn't ex yet. But I didn't feel like life. I didn't feel like doing anything that I've always thought I wanted to do my whole life, was to live and to make people smile and make people laugh, and I was good at making people laugh. I was good at making people smile. I was always fun to be around. But I think sometime at that point, that's when things weren't so fun, is because it was almost fun became part of my facade or my shield that I put up so that people couldn't see me anymore. And it just really got dark. But the light showed up, and she is inspiring. I actually met her when I was in 7th grade. We were 11 years old. I only moved there for 1 year from California. I moved to Connecticut for a school year, not even a full year. And she was our neighbor. The whole family moved in with my dad's family. He had just gotten out of the Navy, and he was looking for a job in California, so we lived with his family for that school year. Well, anyways, Monica was my girlfriend, neighbor, and it was time, the school ended, and it was time, my dad had found a job, and it was time for us to go, and we jumped all in the motorhome and drove off. I know that when we were there, the 4 of us, we were outside people, and it seemed like that whole neighborhood was like, where the hell is everybody? There was nobody out there. Well, we went out there to play, and all of a sudden, a couple of people started coming, and we realized there was like 20 children in this neighborhood. They never came out to play with each other. We ended up playing with all of them that whole school year, like they had never played before, it seemed like. And then we left. Well, I got married. She had her own life. Things happened. Shortly after I got separated, I got a phone call, and it was amazing that God had come down like that to put somebody in my life to help save me from the destruction that I was headed towards. And I didn't even know it. I pushed her away for the first 7 years she was down here. And without her tenacity and without her perseverance, I would have never, ever known that her inspiration was beyond reproach. I don't know ever how I'm going to thank her for that, except for just to be the best person that I possibly can for the rest of my life, to make her life as good as I possibly can. And that's about it. Thanks, Robbie.
Thank you, John.
All right.
I love how your stories are always about love and your wife. love's a hard fucking topic, right? It's awesome and produces lots of pain also. So to lean into the love regularly, man, that's a beautiful reminder for all of us. Lean into love. I I got way too high off edibles one night. That was the night that I realized Donna was the person I needed to marry. 'Cause every time I looked away from her, I kept hearing "surrender to love," and then I would get fucking dizzy and want to throw up. And then I'd look back at her, and she'd just be like, and then I'd come back, and I was like, "Damn, this bitch is my anchor. What the fuck?" Like, there's an unabridged version of that story too, which is really fun. But I want to give the floor to more people. Thank you, John. I'm just so impressed just with the humans that come out here and show up, and the way y'all like show up. Like it's not just sitting, it's showing up. So, with that being said, you ready? Yeah. You ready, Karen? All right, fuck yeah. All right, so Karen was here 2 times ago, or last time? Last time. And was afraid to talk. No, I stopped myself. Yeah. Well, she told me if I could sit down and just sit in front of her like she was talking to me, we could do this. How far you want me? Bring it up, baby. All right. Give it up for Karen.
Come on. You said you'd sit and talk to me, right? Okay.
I'll even take my leg off, so I'm really getting comfortable.
Cool. All right. We are on. Okay. Self-love. How many people are working on their shadow, their wounds, all that kind of shit? Anybody? All right. How many of you can say you love yourself? Unconditionally, truly love yourself. Yeah. All of it. All of it. Right? Yeah, I know. So I've been doing all this self-work for decades, okay? 40 years, okay? Maybe more. About 40. We'll say 40. So, Reader's Digest background, my story. Anybody here have abandonment issues? Yeah. Well, I was given up for adoption, so I automatically had them. My first memory of my adopted mother is her telling me, "I wish I never got you and I'm going to give you back." I was between 3 to 5. I learned how to walk on eggshells. I learned how to be who she needed me to be. I learned compliance. I learned to not speak my truth. I learned that I was disposable, not wanted, unlovable. You name it, I got that shit from my adopted mom. And my adopted father was a child molester. So I buried that shit. I couldn't remember my childhood, and I always thought it was because my mother was explosive. And there was never peace. Never peace. And so I thought that's why I blocked out a lot of things when I was a kid. And as I got older and had my own kids, the memory of being molested didn't come back until one of my children came to me and told me her story of being molested by my adopted father. Opened Pandora's box for me. Fucked me up big time. Okay? And then I started realizing my relationships that I had gotten into throughout my life, and there were a lot. I was always told I needed a man to take care of me. Message, you can't take care of yourself. You're not good enough. You're a woman, you need a man, right? So for me, I started with relationships that were my mother was bipolar, self-medicated with alcohol, And 5 o'clock, it was drink time in my house with my parents. Because if you didn't drink until after 5, then you weren't an alcoholic. Crazy shit. But and that's when things really could become explosive. My mother you never knew what was going to happen. She could be fine one second and rip you apart the next. So I learned to read her and others very well. I learned to pick up on her energy across the room. I knew if it was safe to walk in or not. But even when I did try to stand my ground and be who I wanted to be, it was never good enough for her. You had to talk the right way, wear the right clothes, show up at the country club with all the bullshit, okay? You lived in the nice house, but come in and shut the door. It wasn't a nice house. It wasn't a home. So all my relationships throughout my life mimicked my upbringing. I didn't realize this for a long fucking time, right? So my first two were alcoholics, abusive alcoholics, just like my mother. Emotional abuse. And boy, let me tell you, when I finally realized that a therapist actually told me, I was in my late 20s by my second alcoholic, and she said, you always tried to be the perfect child to make your mother not drink or to be happy. You were the one who complied and made her life easy, right? But you never could fix her. So you're trying to find somebody to fix that was like your mother. I was like, oh, fuck this. So I decided from that moment forward, no more alcoholics. No more. No more people that drink. No. So the next person I got involved with did not drink, but was a controlling, manipulative, explosive motherfucker. Walked on eggshells, made you shrink. Like, fuck, no. I don't like this either, It's like, damn. And then the next one was emotionally unavailable and couldn't see me, hear me, value me, nothing. It was like, but he didn't drink either, but he was just emotionally unavailable. And then the universe is fucking funny. Okay? The universe is really fucking funny. Very patient, too. So my last relationship ended in 2018. And he was all of them rolled into one. He was the alcoholic, the drug addict, the sex addict, explosive, manipulative. He was all of them. He was every frickin' one of these people. And I was just, in 30 seconds, it was like a near-death experience. It was in one of his outbursts that my life flashed before my eyes, and I was like, fuck, man, he's every one of them. Holy shit. How did I get here? I don't want this shit. So I was like, you get out. I'm done. I kicked him out. But now for the first time in my life, I'm on my own. Okay. That's some scary shit right there. But I did it. And I've been on my own ever since. Powerful. Really powerful. So, that was the Reader's Digest background there. So what I really wanted to share was I asked about self-love for everybody, and that's something I'd been working on since all those bad relationships. I dissected all of them. I knew they had this narcissistic traits. They were alcoholics. They were bipolar, blah, 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 blah. But I never looked at me. Fuck. I missed that part of decades of trying to figure out everybody else. What role did I play? And every one of them went back to childhood wounds to where like I said, all of them rolled into the last one. I was playing out all my wounds with each one of these people and never valuing myself. I never learned boundaries. And so that I had no self-esteem, no self-love. I just wanted them to love me. I will love you enough so you will love me. Now I'm being manipulative because I'm trying to make them be what I need them to be. So, it's life is fucked up. It really is fucked up. So, a couple months ago now, a friend of mine and I, we ask questions and we give each other like a month or so to write about it and then come back together to keep each other accountable and help each other with some shit. So the question we came up with, or we chose, was if your life was to be a movie, your life, your wounds, all that shit's going to be on the big screen. You're the producer. You have to pick out all your primary people in your movie, all the main characters, and yourself, and decide which character you also are producing it, but you have to be in it. Which character do you want to play? Who do you want to be in your movie? Think about that for a minute. I started thinking about all the characters in my past and all the shit I went through with them, and let me tell you something. I didn't want to be them. I wanted to be me. I was like, yeah, okay, that was powerful. And then I started thinking about all the people who hurt me. And then this really hit me hard. Okay. In realizing the wounds I received from them, that they projected onto me, right? I realized that the child molester in the family who molested many of us was molested as a child. Now, he's 90 today. Back then, they didn't talk about it. There was no therapist. You don't talk about it. And nobody stopped it from happening over and over again. Okay? So this wounded father of mine was a very wounded child who never had processing, acknowledgement. Nobody took care of him. Nobody stood up for him. You just don't talk about that. And so he hurt a bunch of other people. But in looking at it in that light, I had a love for him, a compassion. I almost fell in love with that part of the character in my story because he was, everybody says you do the best you can in the moment. And yeah, he did the best he could. But in hurting others the way he was hurted, is that a word? He passed all his pain on to a lot of other people. So, and then I went through each one of the alcoholics I was with, and their dads were alcoholics who beat the fuck out of them. Duh, Each one of the people and the way they hurt me was because they were projecting their pain onto me. And in realizing all their pains that were caused by their childhoods and then projecting it, and I had a love for them like I had forgiveness in the past. I had come to that point where I forgave everybody, but I actually fell in love with them. And I look at me back then and who I was back then. I don't know that fucking person back there anymore. I have boundaries. I don't let anybody cross my boundaries. I have a voice. I say what I want, unless it's like up here. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it afraid. Okay, this is how we get through our shit. Thank you. But I had this thought, fall in love with your story. Because we're the only ones who have the version of our story. Nobody else does. You can have siblings grow up in the same house and they walk out with different wounds, different memories, different thoughts of the events that happened, and you might have all been in the same place. But nobody sees it the same. It's your individual story. And if your story can touch somebody else, then share it with them. And if we can help each other, lift each other up, and just fall in love with our own stories and step out of that hate, pain, whatever it is that you carry with you that wasn't even yours to begin with, how fucking powerful is that? Fall in love with your story. Fall in love with the old you that was that person in that story who was not that person anymore. It was that vessel. Like, you can look back there and go, who was that? Right? A lot of parts of your life, you're like, wow. Like, I used to drink. Being through all the shit, I drugged, I drank. Now I can't even have a glass of wine without a headache. I'm like, who was that girl? Because she could drink a bottle of wine to herself. Not no more. So I'm still this person, but I'm a different person. I have grown from way back then. And I've fallen in love with my story and all my characters. And I can truly say for the first time, after going through that process, that I can love myself because I'm not who that person was back there. And I've come a long way. And that's what it's all about. Thank you.
I mean, I felt like I was watching a fucking TED Talk. And I can't even remember who spoke about graveyards and cemeteries and. Okay, yeah. This, like I said, my brain's fucking mushed through these things. Just like if you were terrified to do this, and if you didn't have the anchor of me sitting there, would you have gotten up and done it? And would that story have gone with you to the grave? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much of this shit, like my client that kept like basically begging everyone to write books. Like, you know, how many of us have books we need to write? I know I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm on it, but like I know I got to get on it and keep pushing. So yeah, thank you for sharing, because I was thoroughly impressed with the dichotomy of how scared you were versus how good you did. You know? So nah, like it was really weird. Yeah, like your confidence was really like, that was fucking wild. At least the feigned confidence. You know, but fake it till you make it sometimes, right? Like there's, you know, as long as you're not doing it in a detrimental way to your own, you know, growth and your own story, you know, sometimes you gotta fucking pretend you're not scared. You know, like I fight tears a lot these nights, and sometimes I just can't fight it anymore. But either way, I'm received well. So do the things that you're authentically meant to do, because the right people are going to fucking receive you well, and the wrong ones, fuck them. So who's next on the, okay, ooh. All right. Well, so now I want to, so Kiki's husband, my man David Poirier, yeah, right? And I love this about you, because like the first time that happened, like I was like, man, I hope David doesn't feel some type of way, and I knew you didn't. And then like I talked to you about it, and like I knew you didn't, and you told me you didn't, and like I see the pride on your face and the joy that you get by like following her around in a situation where she's really the fucking leader here, and it's like, wow, this is dope. So I love seeing your guys's everything. It's you guys have taught me so many lessons that you don't even really realize. So I love you both. Thank you, Mr. David Poirier. Sorry, my leg's funny.
You're good, man. You're good. All right, Kiki's husband. Yeah, we talked about that one. I am honored to be Kiki's husband. You know, it lets her be in the spotlight. You know, this is her crew, this is her world, and I'm happy that she's pulled me along in it. I've learned a lot from all of this. I love the format that you guys just throw a word out there, you know, because you could do a prompt. Who inspires you? What inspires you? Share an inspiring story. But no, it's just inspiration, right? And then whatever lays on you, whatever comes up. So I just love that, because it paves way for so many different takes on a word. And so many different stories. You know, inspiration, first of all of you that get up before me and speak are inspiring every time. I come into this every time like, I don't have anything to say really, and I'm just going to sit in the back and enjoy everybody talking. But by the time so many people go, I'm like, oh, all these ideas and thoughts are coming to me. I can actually get up and say something. So, you know, thank you for everybody that is brave enough to go before me and kind of pave the way for that. That's huge. So, a lot of my inspiration does come from my wife. I mean, I think a lot of us have shared that our spouses inspire us. But she brings the inspiration into my life. You know, a lot of times, almost every other day, if not every day, she'll come to me, I had an idea. You know, anybody know that one? I have an idea, you know, hear me out, you know, and I don't get the inspiring ideas so much, but I'm like, all right, what do I need to do? Like, let's go, buckle up, and I get to, you know, create all these amazing things with her, and then I look back at it, and I'm like, I am so grateful for you to bring that up and to bring that idea, because now we've created this amazing thing, right? And without that, I'm like, man, my life would probably be a little boring. So, yeah, grateful for that. One of the things that you mentioned, Robbie, with kindness kangaroos, you brought that up, and we haven't been doing as much with that lately because we've been pretty busy, but it's still a project that we have out there. It's a trackable kindness movement is what we call it. And the whole idea behind that is to inspire others. It's to inspire kindness. Just being kind can inspire others to be kind. But if you give them a card that says, hey, I'm a kindness kangaroo, you can track me, and please pass this on with your own act of kindness. It's a tangible thing that they're getting to hopefully inspire them to carry that kindness on. So that's the whole idea around it, is inspiring. I feel like no matter who you are and how significant or insignificant you feel like you are, you have the power to inspire. You can inspire all kinds of people around you. Even if there's somebody that's bigger and larger than life in your eyes, you can still inspire and impact them. Robbie, you shared stories where, people will come up to you and say, oh, you saved my life, you changed my life, things like that. I'm sure that's inspiring to you. It inspires you to keep going forward. And that person may think they were insignificant and that didn't really touch you, and they don't know that it really did. Yeah, and inspiration comes in a lot of ways. It could be just reaching out with a text to somebody. If somebody's on your mind, send them a quick text, give them a phone call, give them a nice word, something like that. So we can all inspire others, and we can all do it in small and big ways, right? It's really sticking on me, this whole, when you're the person that's always in the spotlight and you're the person that is always inspiring others, people don't think to sit there and try to give you that inspiration because they feel insignificant, right? And I know you feel this, Robbie. Come up here, Robbie. Join me up here. Now that we know we could have Robbie join us, I'm going to have Robbie join me. So that's one of the things, right? It's like, I'm not going to send Robbie a text and tell him he's a badass because, Robbie has everybody telling him that. He knows that. He's telling everybody else they're a badass. Robbie doesn't need that inspiration. He's got it all over the place. But the fucking reality is nobody's telling you that. I'm sure some people are. That you have people around you, but not as much as people think. They think you're just constantly receiving that and you're just full of it. But I believe in you, brother. Honestly believe in you. The RAD movement, I heard something a while ago, and I think Scott told me this. He said, every great idea is given to many people. And the only difference between the person that does it and doesn't is the person that gets over their fear and does the idea, that acts on it. So the RAD movement was given to a bunch of other people, Robbie. You're the one that did it. You have the logo. You have the movement. You're creating the people. I fucking believe in you. And you have this. You're doing it. You're creating something special, man. I love you. So we're going to do something weird now. No, stay up here. Stay up here. We're doing some weird shit tonight because some weird shit came to me. Robbie's up here. You're running away. All right. We can all inspire, but what's more powerful is when we all inspire together. Grab a buddy, grab a group, and say, we're going to go inspire some people. So if you believe in Robbie, I want to hear yeah. I said if you believe in Robbie, I want to hear yeah. All right, I want everybody on their feet right now. Let's raise the energy in this room. Get on your feet. All right, I want to hear a Robbie, 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 Robbie. We love you, motherfucker. You got this. And that's what inspiration feels like. You got this, man. Keep fucking pushing, man. I love you. I love you.
Always.
You need me to MC this next part? You good, brother?
I'm good.
Feel that energy, though. Feel the energy in the room, and that's what I'm trying to say. As a group of people coming together as a family, we can change the energy in any room that we walk in. We can create this energy inside him, and now he's going to run out there and he's going to use that energy to do something with it that's going to be magical. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro. I fucking love you.
Everything Robbie does is magical. I just had to say that.
Megan actually gives some of the most healing hugs I've ever received. And that's the fucking David I fell in love with. So that's the second time I've seen that David. The first time he was screaming at me to enact my anger at workshop, which is the way through workshop. It's this emotional healing, clearing, cleansing thing. You feel like you went through a lot of hot yoga when you're done. But man, thank you. That type of shit's fucked, man. Receiving's fucked. And that's one of the coolest things about this place, the Human Narrative, because it's my tattoo studio. This place gives me more fucking stress than Donna does, and she gives me a lot of stress. Yeah, come on up here, big guy. Come on up here, tough guy. You gonna come up here? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, pussy. And if Donna gave you a compliment on your food, that's saying something, because she's a food critic. So, thank you. Stop. And that's the thing, like, why do we say stop? Like, why do we go with stop? Why did I freeze and close up and like not be able to look at anyone, especially David? You know, like, I didn't realize the Human Narrative was going to be like Robbie, like fucking full on like immersion therapy with receiving love and shit. Yeah. So it's I appreciate the offer to MC the rest of the way through. Cuz this shit does fuck me up, and it's like I get a little thrown off, but it's nice. It's nice to be thrown off by love. You know, and receiving. I've had so many people love bomb me, which I thought was a good thing until I realized it's like not. Sounds cool and just not good. So the true bombs of love that like really are the truth and the real and like the good love, and the real love bombing, the one that makes your life better. I've been working on trying to receive that for a while, and I think all of us kind of need to work on receive love from others, receive love from ourselves, you know, receive the compliments, you know, so many times people are like, oh, you look so great, and you're like, huh, you know, or you change the subject, or no, not really, you know, or like, oh, nice tattoos, oh yeah, they're not finished, you know, or like, those shoes are great, yeah, they're uncomfortable, or, you know, like, anything to fucking not feel that love. So thank you for that, man. I love that you were like, well, I feel like some weird shit, so we're getting fucking weird. I'm like, yes. Oh, fuck, it's for me. They're singing for my birthday at the restaurant now. But thank you all for that, because I don't do this for any sort of praise or anything like that. I do it because I know we need to. I know the world needs it. I know I need to do it. So thank you guys for paying me in such a brilliant way with love for doing this. Like, it's scary to do it, but y'all make it fun and y'all make it easy. And there's always something good coming from it. So thank you guys. Now, the other person that put his hand up to speak before David came and fucked up shit. Yeah, exactly. My new friend, Mario Gallegos. I meet this man at a convention in Orlando last year. I didn't even really want to do fucking conventions, but Donna's like, Come on, let's go to Orlando. It's close. I'm like, all right, I could do this. And then fucking he comes up and he's got this like mega crazy cover up that ain't nobody, had a brain around, and some other dude brought him over and he's like, yo, this is your cover up guy. And it quickly became more about us like connecting than the tattoo. And then he gave me the floor to share my vision of the rad movement with him. And now this is his second visit to Melbourne to put the rad movement into place as a nonprofit, 501c3. And with that means that we will have somewhat of an unlimited funding source from all the donations that we're going to be able to receive. And I'm closer to $472 billion that I need to help change the world. But because I decided to start changing the world before the $472 billion, we're finding ways to make it. So Mario Gallegos is going to come and share his story with all of y'all. Give it up for Mario.
Thank you. How do you follow that? You know, this, Robbie actually shared about the human narrative with me when I was at the conference. And I had never seen an environment. I've been in a lot of different environments in a lot of different circles. And I never saw an environment that created such a safe place just to be you. And so the first one I've hopped online, several of them, because I'm in Tampa. And I've been wanting to come, and it worked out. It worked out today to come, and it's been beautiful to hear each and every one of you. I was pondering on inspiration, and it just kind of hit me between the eyes that I'm inspired by the underdog, by the person who was told they couldn't do it, by the person who said you're not big enough, strong enough, you don't look good enough. I'm inspired by the underdog. Now, how that applies to me personally is when I walked up here, you may have noticed, maybe not, but I'm vertically challenged. And when you live as a little man your whole life, that's a big deal. You got to overcome being small. And so I remember as a kid growing up, all my friends were taller than me. Everyone was, and I wanted to be an athlete, but everyone was bigger than me. And so you learn to tap into something that maybe you don't know is there, and you persevere and you push through it. And the cool thing is my mom just provided an opportunity to play sports. And through that opportunity, I learned that I could overcome, and then I could be one who can inspire others to overcome whatever it is for them. Maybe it's not your height, but whatever it might be, there's inspiration that you can receive from others. I raised 4 sons. Well, my wife and I raised 4 sons. And I'll never forget the day they came to me and said, hey, Dad, why are all our friends taller than us? Because all of them are under 5'7". Like, we shrunk the gene pool. I'm 5'7", my wife's 5'3", my mom's 4'11". Like, we just shrunk it. Like, no hope. But I was able to then share. That's right. I was able to share with them that, guys, your height doesn't matter. Like, yes, everybody's taller than you. But again, it's not as much about the height thing as what is that thing? What were you told that you couldn't do? What do you still feel like you may not be able to do? Right? Day after day, we hear of people who overcome, and to me, that is the greatest inspiration. My wife right now is 50 years old going to college. Like, imagine, like, I'm 50 and I wouldn't step back on a college campus. And she's going to school with professors who are her age. And the kids in the class are the age of our kids. That inspires me. Why? She's going to be the first graduate in her family. I was the first graduate in my family. Right? We all have this ability to do so much more than we think we can. But again, what is that thing that we were told? Because that's where it comes from. If you're lacking in something or you're afraid to do something, it's because someone put it there. But when I see Robbie, who I just meet, I hear his story on Ink Master losing his leg, and then I see him wakeboard, I was like, oh, what is that? That's the underdog, right? The underdog. Robbie inspires me. Your story was beautiful, and it inspired me because of the ability to look back and say, I love that story. Like, I'm not even close to there. But you've said something that sparked me to go, maybe I need to explore that, right? The underdog. The people we don't think are going to inspire us actually end up inspiring us. So my encouragement to you today is just to keep your eyes out for the underdog, right? They need to be noticed. They need to be valued. They need to be cared for just like all of us do. And so, yeah, what inspires me? The underdog.
Yeah, Mario inspired me a lot from the time we met each other. Shared very deeply about the shit he's going through in life at the exact moment, and I was like, man, it sounds like we need each other. And it's been a really brilliant ride so far. Having somebody believe in my vision, having somebody tell me, hey man, my job is to make this vision come to life. You just keep dreaming. They don't let you dream. They tell you you're not supposed to dream. They tell you like your dreams are stupid and you can't make it happen. They're afraid because their dreams never happened, or they're afraid their dreams won't happen, so of course yours can't. Thank you for fucking believing in me, because we're making some really major shit shake, and I can't wait to see what kind of difference the Rad movement can make. And it's going to be majorly because of our interaction at that convention, which goes back to Donna forcing me to do travel again. So maybe sometimes you should step into the things you don't want to do. Great book, best book, one of the best books I ever read, The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. If you're interested in hearing a story about why you should stop fucking saying no to life, go check out that book. Yes, because the guy that wrote the book has a whole meditation fucking spiritual commune in Alachua, which isn't very far. So we're gonna do a field trip there one day. Who's next? Ashley. Let's do it, baby. Met this wonderful human through the human narrative because of Chad and Megan. And when she spoke, damn, she's small but mighty. Woo! So, here we go.
I too get weirded out when people give me compliments. Like, no, I ain't that great, but I'm kind of great.
Well, I mean, we felt it, so.
Thank you.
Get on with it.
So, inspiration. Well, I get that shit from all over the place. I'm an artist and designer, so I find inspiration a lot. Most of my life, words inspire me heavily. Music, always. Words are powerful. Growing up, what inspired me a lot too was anger, was being told, you can't do this, because I'm like, well, fucking watch me. And I did. So, I had this light inside of me as a kid. Like, I was just full of bright light. And then every fucking body in my family killed that shit. Except for my dad. My dad always believed in me. He probably inspired me the most throughout my childhood. I'll never forget one time my sister's ex-husband said, what happened to that sweet child we used to know? Y'all motherfuckers. Y'all is what happened. Okay? Stop telling me I can't do shit. So over the years, I turned all of that anger and pain and all that shit they told me I couldn't do I transmuted that energy, and I did some cool shit, and I kept going. I was the first person in my family really to go to college and do something with myself, and as the years grew, I just, I lived with the attitude that it's always going to be okay. That's what my dad always told me. You got this. It's going to always be all right. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks or says. even though that's one of the things I struggle with the most in life is what the fuck people think, because my mother was very narcissistic and very much about painting a pretty picture for everybody. And as much as I tried to run away from a lot of those traits, because we grow up and say, I'm never fucking gonna be like that, you end up fucking being like that sometimes, because that's what you grew up with. It's that nurture nature shit, you learn it. So nobody ever really fucking inspired me to change. I mean, I grew up with this attitude like, I don't fucking need anybody. I got this. I can do this on my own. I don't need to change for anybody. I'm going to be who I'm going to be and fuck everybody else. And you get to a point in life where you do have to start looking at yourself and looking at what the hell is wrong with you too. And the one person that inspires me most in life is my kid. My daughter is the most amazing human being I've ever had in my life. And Kevin Gates has a lyrics in one of his songs that says, "You will never love me like my daughter loves me." And she inspires me to change and be a better person. I have a very strong sass and spice, and so does my daughter. And I'm going to tell you, there's nothing like dealing with your own fucking spice when it's staring you in the face and you're like, shit, what do I do with this? So there's moments that this kid, like, she really makes me think, and she keeps me on my toes, and she makes me feel like, she calls me out on my bullshit. I'm not going to lie. She's 9 years old, and she's very mature for her age and very smart, and sometimes I'm just like, you know what you right, all right, I'm going to just shut up because you right. And you just have to be that way, I love her. She's my everything. She's a beautiful soul. She's a great friend. She stands up for her friends. She's very gifted. She's very talented. She's very smart. She's in 3rd grade, and she's on a 5th grade reading level. I don't know how the hell I accomplished all this. I don't know why God thought that I deserved such a blessing in my life, but I'm so grateful for it. I never thought that I would be the mother that I am today. And sorry. I had a really bad night one night. Her and I got into an argument, and she had, we sat down because we're going to work this shit out. That's the type of mom I am. I don't care what's going on. We're going to work it out. And she said to me one night, "Mom, I'm really sorry that you had the mom that you had." And I told her that I was grateful for the mother that I had, because if I didn't have her, I would have never been the mom that I am today. And I would go back and go through every single bit of that bullshit again for her, because I know that she's going to do something great one day. And my goal and what inspires me the most is to make damn sure that I leave this earth with a better human being than I ever was. And that's all I want, is for her to be better than I ever was. And I love her. And I think she wanted to say something too, but she's in there with Cora. Amelia? Maybe not. She did. Chad, you want to go grab her? She didn't hear all that? Amelia. She knows. She knows. We have heart-to-hearts all the time. We speak very real to each other. I'm very real with my child. I don't sugarcoat shit. I don't baby talk shit. I'm truthful with her. I'm very real with her. Hi. This is my bean, my shining star, who has 10 times more personality than I do. This is Amelia. Do you want to talk?
Yes.
You still do? Okay. And she's not scared of anything.
Sometimes.
Okay. You want me to stand here with you?
Isn't it
What inspires you?
what inspires me is the community around me that supports me with my tests and the things that I go through sometimes. They support me even through the rough times, and even when they're going through rough times. What and also inspires me is my family and how they teach me new things that I never know, and they're always there if I don't understand something, and they tell me the real thing about it. They don't lie to me. They tell me the truth. And that what inspires me in my life to keep going.
I love you.
Great job.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Robert.
Man, we ain't never had kids speak, and now we had two of them. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, my brain gets fried through these things, and man, that was just beautiful. Thanks for shedding all the tears that are having a hard time coming out of my eyes tonight. I am in an emotionally stuck place, and I know that. And usually I'd be crying a lot more than I am tonight. Thanks for reminding me it's okay and it's safe. Who's next? Matthew! I don't know shit about Matthew because he came with Greg and I ain't never met him before, so here he is.
How cool is this, right? I had no idea I was going to be here. Matter of fact, I thought I almost deliberately made plans not to after a wonderful invite by a wonderful person that also inspires me, right? So with that being said, I wanted to kind of kick this thing off with some of that beautiful inspiration that I do get from Greg Woolley over here. He too graces me with a lot of words of inspiration and poetry, right? I've had the privilege of knowing Greg for now almost, 5 years? 4 years? Maybe something like that. But not too long ago, I got some inspirational poetry that I got to read begrudgingly. And I believe it, what time? Yeah, 7:27 a.m. on a Saturday. So, by 8:59 a.m., when I decided to actually awaken, I was inspired to write this in regards to reading his. It said, "A morning pancake is what I crave. It's not so early to rise this Saturday. Eggs and bacon on my plate. I believe our waitress at the dinner, she wants to date. A morning pancake is what I crave, not this diner waitress that could send me to my early grave. Stirring coffee, piping hot. All this thinking is from years of drinking and smoking pot. Deep breath comes through and thinking evades, but soon comes back the memories of a morning pancake that I used to crave." I told him, "Yours was better." Simply replied, "That was syrupy sweet. And such a treat. Poems inspired, they don't compute." It's these moments, right, that I'm inspired by. It's this moment here with all of you guys, and I've heard it shared, right? I've heard a lot of great things that have happened here tonight, and I'm a big fan of current experiences, right? Why? Because they bring me here. They ground me. They keep me in this now. You know, there's a lot of things that we all get to be able to go through in this human narrative, right? And what's so unique and important and special is that that's unique and important and special to each and every one of us. It's our story, you know. I heard a lot of good things about that too. It's like, how am I going to look at that story? How is that going to drive me? You know, I seen a representation of emotion creates motion, or motion can create emotion, you know. Looking at the beauty between the pendulum swing from fear to courage, and not seeing the separation in that, you know. It took a lot of courage for each and every one of us tonight to be able to get up here and do this. There's probably a little bit of that anxiety and fear that comes along through it, right? And that's the threshold that we all get to walk through in this human experience. It was taught to me at an early age from my mother, who also is an inspiration in my life, that, you know, in order to look at this thing from an entirely different angle, if you can have no expectations and assume nothing, that's tough. That's not an easy thing to do. I come from a place in my story where there was a lot of trauma, right? There was a lot of misfortunes that became fortunes in my life, right? And that's what I choose to use as my narrative. I'm the spiritual being having this human experience with all of you. I hear the word inspiration and I think in spirit action. I'm hearing a lot of that tonight. How powerful is that? How cool is that? You know, it took a lot of work. It took a lot of action, discernment in my life, the ability to be able to take away the good with the bad, right? Because, and some of the things that I've heard and, you know, the practice of Taoism and different spiritual walks, and it's like without the darkness, there's no light. There's no light without the darkness. There's this like dualisticality, and there's a lot of truth that I can find in that, in my life, in my narrative, and that I have found in a lot of yours, and I continue to find in a lot of people that have that courage and that can walk through that threshold of fear in order to share that. Another thing I heard tonight was the ripple effect, right? It's like this is what we get to do in our life, in our journeys, is I believe that deep down in the core of every single one of us is just this drive to connect. You know, what are the odds that I would come from this place of my mother, and I like to be close to her, and I thought I chose that, but, you know, she did birth me, in Danville, Kentucky, and then move down here, and then jump around from school to school and have all these like life experiences, all to lead me up to this very moment that connects with every single one of yours too. Like, that's far out, you know. And in order for me to be able to get grounded and connected with source, I've got to be out of my mind. You know, I've got to be way out of the way in order to be able to see these things. And doing stuff like this for me today allows me that opportunity to do that, right? Because what I thought I was going to be doing tonight is not where I'm at right now. And if I think I had anything to do with putting me in this chair, on this microphone, or that chair back there, or coming through that door, I'm fooling myself. You know, it took a moment in my life to be able to say, you probably don't have this figured out. Nor will you, and that's okay, right? You're perfectly imperfect. And how cool is that, right? Because no longer now do I had to feel that internal feeling that I was feeling at an early age where I felt so separate, different than. I get to feel this connectiveness with each and every one of you, with you not knowing. I had no idea the shop existed. I didn't know you exist. I had no idea, you know. But I'll be able to take this along with my human narrative, you know, and bring this into a moment to be inspirational maybe to somebody else, you know, and that's that ripple effect kind of going back to that place. You know, my life has changed significantly since I've been able to surrender. And it's not the irony behind that word in itself, right? It's like, it's not giving in. It's not giving in. It's in spirit action. It's taking the time to be able to do the things that seem contradiction, like to what I should be doing. I heard it shared the other day. It's like to wake up in the mornings and see exactly what I could do for my brothers and sisters here. Like, that thought for a guy like me once before, that wasn't natural. That wasn't something that just came about from my own humanness. That had to come from my spirit. And that had to come from some surrender of some old ideas, some old programming, right? So yeah, there's the power that comes in from letting go. I've always looked at it from this aspect. You know, as a young man, I can remember being on the playground and holding on to these monkey bars, you know, and the floor is lava, and I can't let go, right? And I'm in the middle of this thing, and I'm holding on for dear life, and my shoulders are burning, man, and I'm sweating bullets, and it's just like, you know, I'm looking around at all my friends on the playground. I'm like, they can't see me let go, you know, until the pain is there, so tremendous, and I can't hold on anymore, and I let go, and sure enough, I've got some solid ground beneath my feet. Like, I can find that struggling and coming from a place of mental illness and diagnosis of certain things, and like, I put this narrative in my head that this ground is going to be dangerous, and as soon as I let go, I find that it's solid, you know, and that's kind of my perspective today on surrender and letting go and letting God of my limited understanding, right? Because this power, the source that I connect to in my life today brings me here, brings me to all you guys, which in turn is an inspiration in my life. And I'd like for that to be able to take itself out from here and be a part of that ripple that we all get to be a part of. So thank you guys for being here, and thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for coming. I think we all go through a little bit of pushback in things in our life that we'd like to do or we should do or we're afraid to do and so on and so forth. Who's next? Zeke. So my man Ezekiel Woolley, Mr. Greg Woolley's son, I met him also at the Sweat Lodge, and I was massively impressed with this young cat going and doing some like ancient ancestor work with some fucking old weird guys and shit. So yeah, I was inspired by you a lot that day, man. So I look forward to being inspired by you more tonight. Give it up for Zeke.
So, my name's Ezekiel, I'm 17. I wanted to thank Robbie for making this happen. Who would have ever thought that this would be such a success? Thank you, Robbie, for making this happen. So, my biggest thing is I love growth. Growth to me is my inspiration. A lot of people struggle with so many different things that they don't really consider that their small little step in the right direction is growing. Some people see lots of different problems as you're stuck. And you see that even if you're stuck, you don't see that your little steps to growth or even to the right path have made a difference in your life. I've always tried to be positive because it's always hard to say who is struggling with what problems. You can never really judge a book by its cover. It's really true with people. I've seen some people who look okay, sound okay, and be some of the most messed up and close to wanting to kill themselves every single second that they're going. But they've always tried to keep going. I've helped some of those people too. It's rough stuff. Everyone thinks that the happiest people around them are the best people around them. It's always hard to say who is actually making it through. I've always been fascinated by seeing people grow because a lot of people have self-doubt in what they believe in. They feel that they're stuck in that no one can help them, but even a small step in the right direction has been able to help people grow significantly. I don't really have much else, but Robbie, you've grown a lot. We've seen a lot of your growth. Even if you don't think it's the right growth, we all agree that you've done a lot and grown a lot. We're really glad that you've made it this far, and we want to keep seeing you grow. Keep growing, Robbie, or I'll come fight you for it.
Thank you, my man Zeke. Yeah, I was super impressed by all the things he said to me that day. The fact that he's 17 and he's inspired by growth, like that's amazing. Absolutely. Yes. Be quiet, commentator. You're absolutely right. Yeah. That was one of my dad's favorite things. Yeah. 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 So do we have more? Come on in. We bringing Greg Woolley back up.
So if I could brag on Ezekiel for a moment, please. Ezekiel was dyslexic. Or still is, I suppose, I guess. It doesn't really go away. So he's also a twin. He has an autistic brother that's like super. They're both super small. I'm blessed by a lot of really smart kids that are smarter than me. So they're my inspiration all the way around. But whenever Zeke was small, he would just have such a hard time. Alex would go to school and he wouldn't have to study his spelling words. Zeke would study for like hours on the spelling words and still get a C like every time. But now lots of years later, Alex struggles at school more now, and Zeke helps his brother more. Zeke. I got the 5K coming up with all the things on. Zeke's the one who adjusts all the stuff for me. He's going to charge me next year, he says, but that's too bad. He won't eat. Then I'll charge him to eat, right? So here.
All the designs I had to redesign because people didn't have them in the
right
right
we
format.
didn't have them in the right format. So he helps me out with that. Yeah. I don't understand that. They tell me it's not in the right format. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what that means.
I helped him.
Yeah, and so a lot of you. Yeah, so for me, my kids have all grown me in different ways, and if you're a parent, I think that you can appreciate that, because you think that you're going to teach them a lot of things, but they've taught me so much more than I could ever know. Zeke was the one, because I still smoked, and Zeke doesn't really remember me smoking now. Zeke's been one of my buddier kids. Like my firstborn daughter was one of my buddier kids, and we really have a lot in common. We really do a lot of stuff together. But he started pretending like he was smoking all the time because I smoked, and so he was the one that I hadn't drank in years, hadn't drugged in years. I still swear like a sailor, but I was like, damn it, if he's going to smoke because of me. And he was like my inspiration to finally quit smoking, because at the time I was buying like a pack every day because I was going to quit tomorrow. I was going to quit tomorrow, and Zeke picking up cigarette butts, pretending he was going to smoke all the time, finally got me to quit smoking. So that was a great one. But if you know Zeke, we dive together, we've climbed mountains, we've served here, there, and everywhere, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We've only almost died 100 times, but we've gone deeper than a lot of people that have gone. We got lost on Pikes Peak. We've done all kinds of crazy stuff together, and I'm really a blessed dad for all my kids in all the different ways. But Zeke's been an awesome young guy, and I don't know where life's going to take him, but he has a servant's heart and he has a leader's mind, and he's going to do great things one day. Yeah.
So, like, as I said about last time, I start to get a little like I'm bullying people. So right as Greg was walking up, I went and And I touched Zach on the knee, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" Because I felt bad, like I had like pushed him a little too hard. And you know what he fucking said to me? He said he's gonna speak. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zach Hendershot.
Thank you. Just to preface a little bit, my story is not done cooking. The burner actually shut off, so this is going to be a rare uncooked steak. I don't know where I'm honestly going to go, but I'm just going to talk about some stuff that inspires me. So, first off, what doesn't inspire me? I'm an inspiration whore. Like, literally anything I see, I get inspired by. I've been filmmaking for almost 3 years now. I've done music videos licensed by Universal Music Group. I've filmed 1,400 horsepower Camaros. Done a lot of cool shit for Robbie, filming tattoos by a Season 5 Ink Master, world famous tattoo artist. And honestly, what inspired me the most is one of my favorite shots to date was a rock. Yeah. We were at Sebastian Inlet one morning, and the waves was crashing over this boulder in just a really cool way as the sun was rising. And I pulled out my camera and I started filming. Still my favorite shot. 3 years, I've done a lot of cool shit, but that's the one that stands out the most to me. I will, absolutely. It was a family vacation trip, actually, when we came down here, and really cool video. But the person that inspires me the most is not here tonight. She's actually watching this live, and part of the reason I had to come up because she told me I had to. Yeah. So,
Fuck yeah, Meg.
So Meg's been a really big inspiration, and before her, I had a lot of failed relationships, which thank God I did, because it wouldn't have led me to her. And something I really struggled with was communication. So every relationship I had, about 9 months in, I'd stop communicating. I'd get cheated on, I'd get left, and I always blame them, right? Met Meg, fell in love instantly. Best friends right from the start. 9 months in, we went to Vegas, and she thought we were going on vacation, but really I was going to propose to her. So rented a Lamborghini Huracan and drove out to the mountain, or the Valley of State Fire in Las Vegas, and proposed to her on top of the mountain at sunset, and it was beautiful. And I brought my parents along to film it, and my mom couldn't get her phone working, so in the video you hear, "Oh, what? Wait a minute," and she puts her phone down and stops as I'm proposing. And then she gets it back going, and Meg starts crying, and my dad asked her to stop because she probably doesn't want that filmed. So that's how my first proposal went. And we did a lot of growth since then. And a couple years in our relationship, we had our first kid. And we went through a lot of rough patches and a lot of ups and downs because I couldn't communicate properly. And she was somebody that taught me to be open to constructive criticism, could tell me I'm being a bad person and teach me not to get upset and mad about it, but to take it to heart and, take shit with a grain of salt and not get mad or upset just because somebody says I'm doing something wrong. So she was a really big inspiration in my life for communicating, and then just every day, just how badass of a mom she is. Taking care of 3 kids, 9, 7, and 4, is a hell of an age range. They're all just little Donnies from Wild Thornberries running around. So, but it's awesome. And speaking of them, another one that's inspired me recently is my 9-year-old daughter, who we don't have the best relationship, and I blamed a lot of that at first of me not being her biological dad. That, and she's never had men in her life that was positive. So I stepped in the shoes that were pretty hard to fill from the get-go because she had a bad rep of just men in general. And weirdly enough, our relationship's been getting a lot better lately. And when we moved down here, one day I was asking her what her goals and aspirations were, and she's like, "I want to work at McDonald's." And I was expecting astronaut, veterinarian, the typical shit. And then I was floored because I was like, "Why do you want to work a minimum wage job?" And she was like, "It's all I need. I'm gonna get an apartment and No, I'll be set. I was like, you not gonna want anything more? She goes, well, if I need more, I'll just ask him to give me a better paycheck. All right. And then we go to this fair down at Melbourne Park, and I just bought a 3D printer. So we were all getting excited about it, and they seen one of these vendor booths selling dragons. And I took Jax back to the car because he was getting cranky and he fell asleep. And she comes to me with some lemonades and a 3D printed toy they bought. And she was like, Dad, you should have seen this vendor booth. They had a bunch of 3D printed things, and they all looked like dog shit, and they were charging a lot of money. And, like, you could do stuff like this, and we could do the stuff like that together. So we did. 8 days ago, we announced that we started a business. I've bought I bought a $200 printer off Amazon just to do some cable management under my desk. And then it became, you know, a print farm printing dragons all day long. So I bought 2 more printers. And we've sold 47 dragons in an 8-day period. We've almost climbed over $1,000 in sales. And it's just really cool experience because she gets to sit down and package all these with me, and she writes cute little notes. And she's just really getting into it, and I love it. And it's teaching her about finances, and she wants to do really big things. And I want to start a savings, but she just wants to give it all away. She wants to do charities. And somebody was really generous and tipped her $40. And she actually went to Walmart, bought herself a crochet kit, and then gave the other $20 to a homeless woman at McDonald's, which I'm unsure was homeless, but she did it, and that was awesome, and it made me feel good. So, you know, and it's just awesome watching her grow. It's just really inspiring that a 9-year-old kid can just kind of step into some shoes like that. It's kind of hard to fill and catch on so quickly. And another person that inspired me a lot was my dad. Growing up, watching him work all the time, being a man that came from nothing with a family of 5 kids, you know, who he'd walk in to his mom crying a lot because she didn't know how she was going to afford groceries. And so she was tired of making, you know, turkey sandwiches all the time. And Dad was like, I don't know what she's talking about. I love turkey sandwiches. And he became a successful businessman back home from nothing, and gave me an awesome life growing up as a kid. Didn't get to see him too much when I was younger because he was working all the time, but he still made a point to be present in any way he possibly could. And he's actually the reason we moved down here, because we started a business together that he's been working on for the last 30 years, which is a roof coating for shingle roofs. And it's patent pending. We called it Coat of Armor. And it's essentially just a shield for your shingle roof that locks all the granules together. We tested it with a 2,000 PSI pressure washer, and it didn't even leave a scratch. So it's pretty amazing stuff. And we're trying to get it launched off and moved down here expecting, you know, to take over the world with it. And it just hasn't gone well. So he actually ended up moving back to West Virginia, and I stayed because my film company was taking off so well. And which leads me to my next person that's inspired me a lot is, you know, this man sitting right here who had a big, long talk with me one day on the way to Disney because I just didn't believe in myself. And he kind of helped open my eyes to tell me, you know, I could do bigger and better things if I just try. And he yelled at me one day for calling myself an amateur, and I'll never forget that. And it's funny, too, because, what, has it been almost 5 months now, right? And I got this man tattooed on my leg as a bob-omb. And every time I tell somebody that, they're like, oh, that's a really cool tattoo. And I was like, yeah, it's my tattoo artist. And they kind of stop. And they're like, you got your tattoo artist tattooed on you? I was like, yeah, as a bob-omb, you know? And they're like, all right, yeah. And it's funny because, like, you know, when you say it like that, you're like, holy fuck, I got my tattoo artist tattooed on me. You know, and I've only known him for 5 months. But at the end of the day, though, when I seen the tattoo, I knew I had to get it. And I would not regret it one bit. Because even though it's only been 5 months and there's still so much more for me to know and figure out about you, even if you turned out to be this awful, shitty human being, it's a tattoo I would never cover because of the inspiration you've left on me. So it's a constant reminder. And that's my uncooked story. So.
Yeah, dude. That was a fine wine, aged just fine. It's so Dylan drew this tattoo. You know Bob-omb from Super Mario Brothers? It's a little character that's a bomb, and he's got feet, and I think he's got arms. I don't know, but Dylan drew this pink Bob-omb with dreadlocks and pink glasses, and sparkly Crocs. And so one day, me and Dylan did a collaboration tattoo of this tattoo on Zach, and one of these days he has to draw a Zach for me. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a Bob-omb though, so we still. A Koopa Troopa, yes. I can fuck with that with a camera. Man, I'm proud of you, dude. That was hella cool. I honestly wasn't sure if you were going to speak tonight. And, yeah, I know. Bro, your fucking your confidence and your lack of confidence makes me doubt my confidence in your ability. And then I'm like, what do I do? And like, fuck. But the good thing is you're easy to crack. I just got to be patient with you. And then you come around. I'm almost everyone is fucking spoken. So, I mean, we got Dylan back there, we got Donna back there, we got Kathleen, we got Britney. Do you want to go? Fuck yeah! All right, Britney! This is Kiki's sister, who I met last month and was just so enamored with the way you show up because life's kicked you real fucking hard and you're like, nah. So let's hear it for Britney.
I'm going to sit down because I'm nervous and I know I'll trip on something. Yeah, I didn't plan on speaking tonight either, but everybody's been inspiring me in this room, and it's kind of crazy when you say that I've gone through all that. Like 10 months ago, I felt so alone, and I didn't feel like I had anybody to inspire me, and then my sister comes against me, and ever since I've been here, every time I call crying, she inspires me to keep pushing through all the darkness, keep like getting better, and things haven't been easy. It's been up and down, but yeah, she inspires me. Since I got here, even since the last time we did this thing, I went to the workshop actually, and everybody there really inspired me. I've been doing my shadow work at home more because I had a journal that I was afraid to open because a friend gave it to me when all this started, and she ended up dying, and I was afraid to open it because I was like, I couldn't do it. But then after the workshop, I felt so inspired. I'm like, yes, after getting all this out, I feel better. So I've been going home and doing that every night. I think she'd be proud. I'm like halfway through that journal. Yeah, there's just been a lot of people that have inspired me since I came back. It's so weird because I actually fought to stay in Texas because I thought that's where my whole life was. But now that I'm here, I'm like, things are slowly getting better and better. I mean, I'm fixing to move in by my sister, which I know nobody wants to live with their family, but I'm excited because I'm going to get to be around my sister more, get to know her again, and get to know her kid and her husband and the rest of my family. And sorry, when I get nervous, I start wheezing, so I'm like breathing heavy. I'm sorry. But yeah, I've got a lot more inspiration than I thought I had. So if you feel like you don't have inspiration, maybe look it in the places that you don't expect it. It's also funny because you were talking to me about my social media growing, and I'm just a small creator, but like, I don't feel like I inspire people, but I keep doing it because it helps me feel better to get on there, even just dance. And people keep telling me, oh, I like your confidence when you dance. And people keep tagging me in their videos saying like, oh, I was inspired to dance because of you. And it's so weird because I feel like those people are the ones that are inspiring me because they keep hyping me up. So it's like a whole circle. Yeah. I mean, just since the last thing, I got almost 1,000 new followers. So, because I was at 6,000 last time, I'm at 7,000 now. Yeah, it's just crazy, and I'm not doing anything special. I'm just being me. But yeah, there's inspiration everywhere, even from strangers online who hype you up that you never thought you would love, but made a whole family on there. You guys inspired me to talk last time. I didn't even know any of you guys last time, and I still got up here and shared my story because the things you guys were saying were so powerful that they inspired me and moved me. Another thing that really inspired me, sorry for any of the religious people if I offend you, but I am a witch, and I was in a coven of witches. And to me, those women, they were so strong and like so powerful because of like their love and their attitude that they put out into the world. And they gave me a lot of that love. And like, when I was married to a man who absolutely hated me, like he didn't like anything about me, I kept crying, and I would go to my coven, and my sisters there, they would lift me up and they'd be like, "Don't listen to him, you're beautiful." Like, and they just kept inspiring me to try to build myself up. And even though I miss them, they're not here, they're in Texas. They're still inspiring me because I still think about them every day, and I'm trying to put that same love that they put into me back out for other people too. So, yep. So thanks for inspiring me to get up here again. You've inspired this whole room of people, and I've only met you twice, but yet you keep getting me up here. So, you got good energy, and I like your vibe.
I am so happy for you. Fuck, man. Growing 1,000 followers on any platform is really, you never know how that's going to work. So I'm so impressed. Just keep doing it because, like, you can inspire people and then monetize as well. And like that's really cool. Like it's the cool part about doing good for people. You can actually do good for yourself in the same time and not feel guilty about it. So keep being unapologetically you and being radiant and beautiful and fucking dancing. Cause you know what? Most people are afraid of public speaking. I butt fuck that shit. I don't give a shit. I'll fucking public speak any day. Dancing like nobody's watching fucks my life. It is scary. It is scary. Yeah. But yeah, dancing like nobody's looking is a scary thing. So it's really impressive that you're doing that. So like, it might seem insignificant to you, but it's not. It's not. Every bit of magic that all of us have, even the fucking granules are still significant as fuck. Because most of the things in life that make a difference are the micro adjustments. You don't need to make a grand gesture to do things. This was a micro adjustment to my life. One night every couple fucking weeks we do this, and look at all the good it brings and all the beauty it brings and all the self-love and receiving and all that. So yeah, keep doing it. Everybody keep doing it. Anyone else need to speak? Okay, Monica. All right. So this is John's wife. His inspiration, his passion, his love, his everything, his light, and the reason why he is no longer in a dark place. So let's hear it for Monica.
Hello. Oops, sorry. I'm big on what's the word? Signs, meanings and stuff. And I was gonna sit here and listen and just be in the audience. And I've been picking up messages from different people and their stories, and what it reminds me of is I get inspired by people who are courageous, who are brave, who look fear in the eye and just do what they want because that's what they feel. And the reason being is I want that to be me. I want to be that strength. I want to be that fearless. And you don't think you are, right? You don't think you are, and you actually are, because you're dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, and you still have it in you, you know. It's granular, like you said. That was a great word. It's granular. You don't have to be big and stuff, but the little pieces I'm picking up on is my stepdaughter Sarah. You talking about your mother reminds me of hers, unfortunately. You talking about how you were, I said to my husband, that's Sarah right there. That's what Sarah's going through. She inspires me because she has everything. She has athletic ability. She has smarts. She can write poetry. She can draw. She looks like my husband, except the female. Pretty, though. Pretty. She doesn't look like a guy. Yeah. Yeah. And yet she's made to feel like she's nothing. And I come in her life at the darkest time, and I'm not girly, you know, I'm a tomboy, and she likes makeup, you know, and she likes sports. I like them, but, you know, I don't do them. So I kind of felt, and I've said this to her husband recently, I kind of feel bad for her because I wish I was that person that could inspire her, that she could connect to. And it's just been really hard, and this girl's been through everything, and she gets up every day, and she keeps pursuing, and that's because her dad inspires her. Dad didn't think so because Dad doesn't live near her. And I tried to say, like, I forget who was here saying, you know, your parents teach you things. And I said, my experience was my dad was around every Tuesday and Thursday and every other weekend. I lived with my mom. But I don't remember my mother being around at all, right? And why I'm saying this is because it didn't matter how long my dad was there. He was there. Whether it was a minute, 5 minutes, a day, he was there. And that's what I got across to him. As long as you're there for her, it doesn't matter if you're in Florida and she's in Virginia, or you talk for an hour a week. If you're there for her, that's what's going to matter. And she's finally pulled out of it. And now she's a mom. And she gets to be the mom that she wished she had. And she's pretty freaking amazing mom. She really is. I'm really proud of her. And then the other person I'm inspired by is his son, my stepson. He is on the autism scale. He's higher functioning. And the reason why I like him is he is fearless. That kid is fearless. He thinks he could sing. God bless him. And I'm the one home that has to hear it. He does not hear it. But we don't stop him, right? We let him be him. And he comes out, Dad, Mom, I got something for you. And we're like, oh, okay. Yeah. But he doesn't care. He's out there. And I'm like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. You know, I learned how to play, I was learning how to play the saxophone. I wouldn't go out in the living room to my parents or whomever was there, and he does. He doesn't care. And he's very, as well as his heart, he's not afraid to show his emotions whatsoever. You know, I had to bring my cat to the vet to be put down, which was not expected. And I came in, and I dropped the carrier, and John said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "He's not here no more." And Seth just comes over me, and Seth is almost as tall as his dad. Comes over to me and just bear hugs me. Doesn't say anything, and just bear hugs me. Like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And, you know, it's credit to my husband here, you know. It's him being soft. It's him being, you know, open and loving. And he thinks it's being weak, and it's not. It's being selfless. And that's what, like, being inspired is, you know, that. So, anyway.
I love how many people are inspired by their children. Step kids, real kids, all kids, you know, it doesn't matter. We're here to make them realize they can do it. So she's shaking her head at me. Donna's got a really cool idea that she wants to share with everybody, but she doesn't want to come up here. So I think she should come up here because, number one, Donna's beautiful, and everyone needs to see that beauty. And number two, Donna's really good at speaking. She's just really afraid of it. And you're the asshole that just texted me about it. That's fine. Dude, this is the first time I haven't been fucking, like, stupefied, fucking stoned off edibles doing this, all right? Like, nope, come on up. Because we need the voice on the microphone for the video, and you're beautiful. Donna, 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 Donna. Come on, don't make me pick you up and carry you up here. Bro. So this is a human narrative first. Donna's always in the back talking shit. And now all of a sudden she's inspired to get up and speak because Donna never texted me during this shit and had a really cool thing to share. So everyone, my love, my baby mama, my inspiration, the soon-to-be Donna Rapole.
Yeah. Okay, so all of you have inspired me to even say something because I've been sitting back there like, okay, like what are all the things I'm inspired by? And I'm like going through my list of everything and like obviously Robbie and my son, my family, like, you know, all the things, my friends, all of it. But then I thought about it and like in a deeper sense, I guess. And I was like, what truly inspires me? And it's really me pondering who my future self is. And who I inspire to be later in life is what inspires me to become that person, if that makes sense. So I kind of challenge all of you today to go home and think about who you want your future self to be and let that person become your inspiration. Yeah.
I love that Donna got bullied into coming up because she always sits in the back and forces somebody from the back to get up. And now it was weird because, like I said, you never text me during this shit, and I usually don't even fuck with my phone. Yeah, whatever. It's all the all the problems, all the excuses, Donna. Right. But honestly, so one of the things she was texting. Exactly. So she was. So she was texting me like, "Oh, is this stupid? Is this stupid?" I'm like, "No, that's fucking brilliant." And the thing is, like, that's like one of my fucking like that's one of my roadmaps when I was going right before my second divorce, right after my second divorce, somewhere in that period of my life before I met Donna, I was doing a lot of traveling solo, driving from convention to convention, guest spot to guest spot, everywhere all around the country. And I had a lot of time to listen to podcasts, books, YouTube videos, all kinds of shit about personal growth. I got really horny for personal development about 10 years ago. And that's, around probably earlier than that, but that's when I really started going into it because I wanted to kill myself the most in my adult life at that point. So I Googled how to be happy, found Brendan Burchard, and, I realized that I just needed to say the things he was saying with some fucks in them so people like me would listen. And yeah, right. And that's the thing, right? Like, one of the things I learned through that was these dudes were talking about how would you, what would you be like if you were like the person you wanted to be like? So if you basically what she said, challenging yourself to be like your future self, the things you aspire to are what should inspire you to turn into that. So I think it's beautiful, and you're wonderful, and you're really fucking smart. And you have some really great insights. And you basically brought up something that I've been trying to do for years. So, it was a brilliant idea. And I thank you for sharing that and reminding me that, I got to keep living up to the standards of the person that I'd want to be like. That's what it was. The person you want to be like that person. Reverse engineer that person and then start doing the things that person would do. So you're smart. Thanks for bringing that up. Dylan, is it Dylan time? Okay, so everyone welcome Dylan Brown to the microphone. Dylan is an amazing human. He moved to Florida from Oregon, got a tattoo from me. Oregon. Got a tattoo from me, and I fell in love with him, and now we work together. So, yeah. Love you, bro. Hell yeah. So, everyone, Dylan Brown.
All right. I got absolutely nothing to say up here, guys. What am I doing up here? For real. I've been... Damn, all right. I've been mulling around a couple of things over the last week or so when I knew this was going to be happening. And I couldn't really come up with much other than just a challenge to everybody else watching. It's really tough to be inspired these days, especially with a lot of things going on, especially a lot of things going on externally, internally, maybe in your own life. And a lot of the time you find yourself not leaping at the little chances to follow your inspirations. You try to put up walls and you try to say things to not allow yourself to run in the direction that you really want to go into. So I kind of challenge you to run in those directions. When you find yourself, to find yourself feeling those little impulses that draw you to something, leap at them, run at them. There's nothing that's going to hold you back, because when you start doing that, you become more of your true and honest self. And so when you can do that, you start finding how easy it is to be happy in life. And when you're doing that, everything's just so much better. And I'm living proof of it. I stopped working at a bank to come do this. This wasn't but, a year ago. Not only that, but I'm out here in a wonderful group of individuals, actually living the dream I've always wanted to. And just like Donna in the back, who's still heckling, just said, yeah, it's great. But we challenge you to be your honest and true selves. Be inspired and follow your inspirations. They'll lead to good things. That's all I got to say. I know it wasn't very
Dude, no, it was perfect, man. Hey, I knew she was coming, Kathleen!
Okay. She doesn't have to say anything. When I want to speak, I'm going to get up and speak. Right? Isn't that how we're supposed to do it? Oh, so what was so beautiful right then, and one of the things that inspires me is being able to see the mirror that all of you are to me. Because what he doesn't like in you, you don't like in him. Which is that poking, prodding thing. But, you know, it keeps you both alive. It keeps your relationship happy and moving forward all the time. I think I'm the oldest person in the room tonight. I'm 71, if anybody wants to know. But I say that what's that? Right. Thank you. Okay, so this is not true of many of the other groups that I hang out in. Many of the people in groups that I hang out in are 80 and above. And so that's one of the things that I get inspired by in my life. Like she says, the wisdom of these people that have these years of experiences that I don't have. I mean, they're 80s. That's, you know, another 9, 10 years. And one of my best friends is Grandmother Rose. And she says to me all this time, you know, I don't have it all figured out yet either. She says, and one of her favorite words in the world is yet. I haven't figured it out yet. And she inspires me because even when I feel like I've been trying to solve the same problem over again, but you have to look into the deeper meaning of that word to have fun with it. It's one of our favorite things in life and one of the things we hate the most. Right? Yeah, and just she reminds me that we always have another opportunity as long as we're still breathing to try again. Saying that, it also reminds me of one of the other things that inspires me is the fact that people really, truly do change. I can remember standing here, the first topic of conversation that was done in the human narrative was fear. And about every third word out of Robbie's mouth was, I'm sorry. Yes, she was apologizing. I don't have this right. I don't have it together yet. I'm sorry. And you said that a lot. And I remember coming up to you, inviting you to quit saying that, and you haven't. You so much so that you've even forgotten that you did it. So, you know, it's. So I do take instructions. Yes, he does sometimes. He does. Well, but that's because he knew he wasn't listening to me. He was listening to them. Yeah, which is, you know. And that is one of my true inspirations, you know, and everybody talks about like all these messages they get from the higher power, the source, the great mystery, which in the indigenous cultures they call it the great mystery that cannot be solved. And so me and my infinite wisdom had to go and ask the question, well, why can't it be solved? And the answer they gave me was because it's not a problem. Okay. So yeah. When I came here today, they told me that there was going to be a lot of talk about inspiration about children. And when I walked in the front door, and I expected to see the benches to the side, and it was a kids area, and I thought, how beautiful that that everybody in here is paying attention to their children and are inspired by their children to make the changes to allow them to grow. You know, which you know, yeah, good job, parents. You know, and what's your daughter's name again? Clara. You know, she thanked me for the eggs. You know, and just the respect of that. You know, those kind of things. One of the things, the last like 3 weeks of my life have been very solitary and isolating. And one of the things I thought, well, why am I coming here tonight? I'm like, well, I am coming here because I need to be inspired. I have no idea, because I felt, you know, it's like, so connection, you know, going out and connecting with something. And we need times of isolation. You talked about this being a time of not crying. Sometimes that's not the medicine you need in the moment. Sometimes the medicine you need will be fire or wind or you know, and that's another thing. Nature, I'm sure, inspires you all. And you talked about the rock. My life was saved by a rock person on the beach in Wabasso. When I was ready, I was so confused by all the human concepts about how to fix your life. And I felt like I didn't have a friend in the world. And I picked up this rock. And it was like, oh, I'm a part of everything. You know, and it just like hit me and grounded me. And it's like, I felt protected. I felt protected by the universe. Somebody talked about the ground. First time I ever walked out of a sweat lodge, there wasn't anybody outside the door to catch me. There was nobody there. And I walked out of the lodge and I fell flat on the ground. I have no idea how long I lay there. But it taught me that you can't fall below Pachamama, that she's holding you up. And when you die, parts of you become part of her, but parts of you become part of the universe. Somehow when you die, you get beyond the gravitational pull of the earth. My husband used to crack this joke, gravity is a real downer. He loved saying that. Yeah. We talk about generational healing, some in here tonight, and the concept of, wow. Sometimes when I sit in my living room, and other places too, I do what other people call speaking in tongues, where I don't speak English. Often when I'm alone in my house, the voices that come through me are so incredibly angry. And it's like, and I sat here tonight and went, oh shit, can I really still be that angry in my life? So when you talked about, you know, addressing the parts of your past and realizing the parts of it that I still haven't looked at, the parts I still don't speak out loud, you know, and I go, oh shit, there's still more work to do. There's always something to do with the rest of your life. And that's what we're all doing. We're all on our path. We're all on whatever step we need to take. And, you know, the sun will come out tomorrow. Even when we can't see it, it's still there. You know, and there are so many perspectives. When you get stuck between the worlds of generations, like my youngest granddaughter is 11 now, and my oldest grandchild, he's 24. My oldest son is 53. My sister is 73 now. And I had a conversation with one of my middle granddaughters about what I wanted to be doing with my life right now. And I said, what I'd really like to do is to go back to kindergarten. Because then I could figure out what the hell was going on in the world. Because my jumping off point, my reference points. I don't know the references. You're talking about some video game. I never played video games. We didn't have television. That was me. A lot of other people did. I did not grow up with television. Those references, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And we forget so much in our lives that we have no idea what the other person is talking about. And that when somebody says to you, I don't get it, stop and listen and figure out what the fuck it is they don't get. Because they're asking you for help. They're saying help, and all this technology stuff. And, as much as I want to know all about it, I don't have a teacher to teach me. In my current space, right, all that. So you got to learn with the people that Spirit provides you within the moment, and trust that your messages, the things you need to know to function in the world, are there with you even when you're sitting all alone in your house screaming at the world because you're pissed about something. So, it was beautiful to understand the messages and the fact that these voices that came through were from generations ago. It's like my grandmother, my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother's voice is still telling me this is how I felt, that I didn't get to do anything about. And now you're much more aware of it, and you're in a time where you can heal it. You can heal it for the future generations. The magic in your life of having 2 generations of kids, that's beautiful. And you can see how each generation inspires you in different ways. God, we wouldn't make it. Our kids give us a reason for being. They just do. And the people we fall in love with, and our grandmothers and grandfathers. I read something today about it took 400 years and 4,094 people to fulfill the dream of the ancestors that you had so you could get born. So everybody in here is a dream of your ancestors. Oh, thank you. Okay, brother, run the hair all the way down to Pachamama. She's holding you up, even when the rest of us are too fucking confused. Just sit with her. And public speaking is all about learning to have psychasms. We're not supposed to have gasms in public.
So one of the funniest things about Kathleen, when I first met her, we were at the workshop, and she fucking challenged me. And I was like, why the fuck are you challenging me? I'm all raw from this weekend. And then that's when I realized, oh shit, she's fucking speaking for real. So I always appreciate every time you share, whether it's through a Facebook message, a comment on Facebook, here in public, having your gasm. I fucking love it. Yeah.
And the concept of that energy, we think it comes through our sexuality and the physical connection, which is a beautiful way for that life-affirming energy to happen, and it creates new life. But if you choose the other path, that energy is still there to access, and it's just as beautiful. And that's how half of us survive, because not all of us have partners all the time. Right?
This is the first. Everyone's either spoken or a few have left. And I think there was like 3 people that didn't speak tonight. So, last time I was like, oh, man, I didn't do my job. Not everybody that needed to speak went up. Well, thank you all for fulfilling that. Even fucking Donna. Let's have a hand for Donna. Let's give it up for Donna, who has been dying to get up here, but allowing her fucking fear of whatever the hell it is keep her from it. The light. Yeah, it's the light's fault. Yeah, whatever, dog. No, you're bigger than that, dog. Well, there's no one else to call on, and boy, I'm tired, boss. I came in 2 hours early today, and worked decently late last night, and it's really funny because I don't get tired on human narrative days until after. The energy's been spent, the job has been done, the race has been run. I did not expect this to be a love on Robbie in public night. And I thank you all for that very much. Everyone that had something positive to say. I was sitting there thinking about, wow, you really are like this powerful being where someone gathers strength from you sitting here in front of them and then they fucking talk like a professional. I appreciate the fact that y'all helped me fucking acknowledge my strength. The I'm sorry shit, I remember now. Bless you. Bless you. Food truck didn't Food truck didn't show up. My mom was bitching about the weather, telling me we need to do it inside. I'm like, Ma, shut the fuck up. I'm about to do this fucking nice thing tonight, Ma. Shut the fuck up. And give me some fucking lasagna. Oh my God, the fucking cranky lady that was drunk, mad that fucking my 1-year-old was sitting, or 1.5-year-old was making noise. She literally looked at him and goes, "Can you stop it? I'm trying to hear him." It was fucking weird. So many things. And I told Chad, never again. We're not doing this shit no more. Fuck, this is stupid. And I don't want to do it. And then it was like, well, maybe we'll do it at a different venue. And then it was like, well, it's just fucking easier to do it at the shop. And that's how fucking Chad gets me. That's how he chads me into shit. I'm like, don't you text me and then not say anything else after I don't want to do it, but don't really give me an out. And so, and it was weird because when he brought me the idea, man, I don't want to talk about this over text. I want to come and see you in person. I'm like, fucking just tell me, Chad. And then he shows up and oh my God. I've been dying for a topic, resistance, yes. No, absolutely. No, well, we've figured out our next topic, which is resistance. Me and Chad figure out dates, and then we put it together, and then you guys show up. And the cool thing is, y'all keep showing up earlier and earlier, therefore alleviating my stress of our people going to show up. And the cool thing is, somewhere around, the last 1 or 2, I stopped caring if people were going to show up because y'all fucking show up anyway. And I was like, man, I ain't got to worry about that no more, and it's beautiful. It's brilliant. And, from, a couple months ago, I was tattooing all the way up until I had to, start emceeing. I was like, cool, I get to just be in my element and just make art. And then I get to work through my anxieties. And now, I just do my thing, and I'm really not that anxious until right before. So it's really cool to fucking feel and see my growth, Right. And what happened this time? This time I had resistance. And we almost went to a convention, and then I was like, no, Donna, we can't go to the convention because we have the human narrative. And she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, all right, cool. So just as much as you didn't want to come tonight. Huh? Well, right. Apparently Kathleen has to tell me. Thank you. Thank you very much. So are you. Yo! For real, dude. Like, I referred to you as the man in the chair from that Spider-Man movie. You're the man in the chair, bro. You're the guy that's like fucking pushing the buttons and twisting the dials and making sure this shit gets down. Like, I remember when you were here with your computer and the OBS and the streaming and the this and the that, and fucking now, like, we have Zach here doing this, and now you just get to sit there perched on a fucking chair looking all beautiful. You know, yeah, exactly. Always the man in the fucking chair, man. And, you know, like I said, man, it's resounding to just watch the way your public speaking presence has changed since doing this. And it just inspires me to keep doing it, man, because, like, and now I've seen a bunch of you like come and be afraid to do this shit and like do this shit, and it's like, fuck yeah, man, we're actually doing something here. And I know I say this every time, but it's still kind of mind blowing every time that we're actually making a fucking difference in these rooms, and sitting in circles, right? It's important. It's important. You know, it's important to sit in these circles and share. We almost turned it into a circular format, but for camera purposes, we couldn't. And honestly, I like the hot seat concept. You know? Yeah. Right. And everybody did tonight. Everybody got their turn tonight. Even the little ones, you know, even Cora's fortune cookie, you know, like I feel like every word that was said tonight has fallen on such receptive ears. I don't like these nights until they happen, you know, because I'm like, oh, this and that, and yeah, you know, all the resistance, right? Right, you know, and it's funny because now I like, dude, I relish in it now, like the way that Scott, like, he enjoys the workshops because he's like, haha, chaos, let's fight some fucking demons, you know, and like, we're slaying demons in this bitch, and people are like, oh, it hurts, and he's like, yeah, it's great. And you know what? I leave here being like, fuck yeah, I'm glad that, you know, my bullying, I'm glad I was taught how to bully people, but be a kind person and do it effectively. You know, all the bullies before that bullied the shit out of me, it just taught me how to manipulate people into doing what they need to do. And that's all I do in these nights. Like, I am manipulating people to get up and do shit for themselves. Because I'm like, hey, you can do it. I'm fucking scared. I'm missing a leg and I'm doing it. What's your fucking excuse? And it's beautiful. So I just want to thank everyone for sharing tonight. And it's so cool to watch other people hold the thing the way that I hold it, because that means they have the same fucking anxiety calming techniques that I do. But like, to hear us all connect. And this is one thing I did want to share. I have this one dreadlock. It's longer than the rest. And it's blue. It's my Avatar tail. Because I fucking love those movies. And not because they're fucking cinematic genius, and not because the fucking storyline, but because the fucking plot. We're all fucking connected. We're all one. The way those fucking people screamed when that fucking tree got shot in the first movie kills me to think about it. And the way that they fucking tapped into nature, to oneness with their tails. I want to be an Avatar. So if there was ever anything that I would fall into, 100% make me a fucking Avatar. Cause like, man, I will love to be fucking Saruk Makto. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am fucking, I want to face the fear of fucking wrestling a giant flying mammoth thing into submission midair. But also, like, I gotta fucking plug my tail into this motherfucker. Like, what? Like we gotta wrestle and then fuck and then go to dinner? Like, this is crazy. Like, what? Yeah. But like the trueness, like, I can't do Avatar shit without crying because like it's so fucking beautiful. I go on the fucking ride in Disney and it's like so beautiful that I had to fucking microdose and experience it just because I was like, ooh, what's that gonna be like? And it was dope. So like, I love the connectedness that this room makes me feel because it makes my Avatar tale be real. I don't got to plug it into a tree. I just got to plug into y'all. And y'all plug into me. And we plug into each other. And then brilliant little young motherfuckers come and say some wild shit and fucking drop the realist on all of us. And, you know, make us realize that we're magical too. And make us remember that we were all born with fucking magic. And our birthright is to have everything fucking exactly as our heart desires. So if we inspire ourselves to live and lean into our birthright, which is ultimate health, ultimate wealth, ultimate happiness, ultimate peace, every fucking thing you've ever wanted, because you have that. You already have that. You just have to access it. And nights like tonight remind me that we can access it internally. And then when we do it externally as a group, it's just multipliers. So every single one of y'all is a multiplier to me, and I'm a multiplier to all of y'all. So we're all continually making this place a better place by coming together in this place. So thank you all for joining us for the human narrative once again. This time it was inspiration. I need to plug the human narrative Patreon. The man in the chair is making sure it's getting content and whatnot. I think it's like $5 a month. It gives you access to all the recordings that we have for the human narrative. Zeke, you raising your hand, baby? What's up? Party.
No, you're staying up here. I think this guy deserves a thank you from everyone because he's hosting all of this. We thank you all for this. Thank you. Keep doing it or else we'll find you.
I can't quit at this point. It's too much good every time. And a couple times ago, I had this overwhelming feeling of being in a large venue doing this. And I'm like, how the fuck are we going to let everybody speak? Well, you know, it could turn into a week-long thing. Who knows? But with the... Huh? No, you're absolutely right. And that is one thing, like, I grazed over tattooing like it wasn't a big deal because I've done it for almost 30 years. And that's been a modality of healing for almost 30 years. So I've been like that teacher for so long that I forget the value of it. But the value that I had today, the way that young man told me thank you so many times for making his dreams come true with the tattoos I was doing, on top of all the shit that we went through today, like, yeah, there is magic that happens in that room. So thank you for bringing that up and reminding me of that, because that's my original modality of helping people heal, is tattooing. Super Soul Sessions. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Whoever is talking through Kathleen. All right. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So thank you all for being here, for making this special. for helping me face my fears, for helping me and Chad feel like fucking winners for like continually doing this, because I know how I fucking feel about it, and I'm sure that he's got to feel some type of way, very similar, because, man, it's because of him, and then it's because of me, and then it's because of y'all. Because without y'all, it's just me and Chad talking. Right. But you know, there's not as many stories. Right, because this is like episode 6, right? Like, there's so much more that's going to happen, and that's why, like, I highlight, like, that feeling I had of, like, this being in a larger setting, because I couldn't fathom that before. I was afraid nobody would show up every time. And now, like, I would say with Oprah, but like, I don't know. I heard she's like in some fucking scandalous shit. So I don't know, like somebody that's pure, but like Oprah, you know? Like hey, right. Like, and that's the thing. Everyone that I look up to is just a person. We're all people. So just remember, we're all fucking people. Everybody poops and pees and hurts and cries and bleeds and all that stuff. So just remember, we're all human. We're all capable of any fucking thing. Any fucking thing. Yo, for real. Seriously. And to you, everyone inside of the camera, everyone that's watching on their phone, their TV, their computer, thank you so much for giving us a larger audience to share this with, because I was afraid to do that too. So I thank you for being here with us through this, and I invite you to come out to a future human narrative, no matter where you are in the world, because we've had some people from different parts of the states already come out. So I'm interested to see how many more will make the trek to the wild and wonderful evening of the human narrative. Yes. So this is on the Rad Movement, streaming live right now. It will stay on the Rad Movement, but it will also be on our Patreon. And our Patreon will include other things that are not on the Rad Movement, other old things from the Rad Movement, other things from our archives, and other new things that we're going to do moving forward. So please, if you want to help the human narrative in any way, join our Patreon, because right now all this stuff comes out of our pockets. So it'd be nice to like have it at least pay for itself, because Donna went fucking insane on a charcuterie table. Dude, it's like, oh, I'm going to go get a charcuterie board. I'm like, just buy a fucking pre-made charcuterie thing. No, I'm going to make one. And then she calls me. She's like, oh, the s'mores. I found this s'mores thing. And I was like, I don't care. I'm tattooing. Do what you want. And honestly, the fucking s'mores thing was amazing. Right, yeah. But like, you know, this is a beautiful thing. And I can't believe how beautiful it's gotten, and I can't believe how more beautiful it's going to get. So I think I've plugged everything I'm supposed to, the human narrative. Yes, if you are watching. So because Donna refuses to use the microphone. If you are watching, you're so cute. I hate how cute you are. If you're watching and you have something to say, drop it in the comments. Let's start a thread about what we're inspired by, whether it was from anyone's story tonight or just your personal life. Share that with us. We're still trying to figure out how everything is supposed to look, work, and function. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of this. I always really applaud the motherfuckers that stick around to the end of the night, because this is one of our later nights as well. And I love how fucking deeply engaged everybody stays for this whole 3 hours or so. It's like those long-ass movies that, like, how the fuck did I watch that whole thing? And you're still like, but I could go for more. Yeah, like Avatar, exactly. I'm like, oh, it's not enough. I want this to be a 5-day-long movie. Yes. Once again, the human narrative is about human connection, but you can't hear that unless you're hearing it through the microphone. Right. Donna's just going to have her mic on the back. So thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we will see you at the next Human Narrative. And the prompt is resistance. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for viewing, and we'll see you next time.